David Pearson, the Grand Marshal here in Atlanta. 41 of NASCAR's best have fired up on the pit road, and we are ready to go racing. Today, from Atlanta Motor Speedway, it's the Purolator 500. On a very cold day, temperatures hovering around 40 degrees. It's very cold here in Atlanta for the Purolator 500. A brisk breeze blowing across this track that isn't helping things at all, but nevertheless, the fans are here. And this is the second in 6 weeks of motor racing Sundays here at ABC Sports. We'll have the Purolator 500 right away, and then after that, the first round of the International Race of Champions. And every Sunday for the next several weeks, you're going to see auto racing here on ABC Sports. But let's talk NASCAR right now, because that's what we have in store for you today. This is the fourth race of the series. Race number 1, the Daytona 500. It was a battle of the Dales, Jarrett and Earnhardt, with Dale Jarrett driving his Thunderbird into the winner's circle, his second Daytona 500 win. And then at Rockingham, the Dales were at it again. This time, Earnhardt takes the win. Dale Jarrett is second. At Richmond, Jeff Gordon stuck his nose under the checkered flag and into winner's circle, followed by Dale Jarrett. Earnhardt had some brake problems, finished 31st. So as they come to Atlanta and we take a look at the top 5 in the points, Dale Jarrett has a firm grasp on the points. And Dale Earnhardt sits down there in 4th place. Now, it's been a long, long weekend here with some very unusual happenings, maybe due to the cold. Let's talk to Jack Arute.
Well, you talk about Dale Jarrett, you'd think with 1 win and 2 runner-up finishes, he'd be starting up front in this race. He's the Winston Cup current point leader. Wrong, he's all the way back here in 36th starting position. That's how competitive fields are in Winston Cup racing. Let's take a look with Bill Weber at what happened to the combatants for the Winston Cup Championship last year, Bill.
Well, Dale Earnhardt won here at Atlanta last fall. He didn't just win, he dominated. He rolls off 18th today. Jeff Gordon is the reigning Winston Cup champion and the defending champion here of this event. But in the first 2 races, he failed to finish, then roared into victory lane at Richmond 1 week ago. He qualified 21st, a good but not great starting spot. But he has one huge advantage, the #1 pit on pit road. And you veteran fans know what that means. It's like having the best parking spot at the ball the day after Thanksgiving. It's the easiest to get in and out of, and it's closest to the door. Further up pit road, Dr. Jerry Punch.
Stock car fans know Johnny Benson as the reigning Busch Series champion and a leading candidate for Rookie of the Year this year. But even the non-sports fans can sympathize with the emotional roller coaster this young man has endured the past 3 days. Thursday night, he was in Charlotte, North Carolina with wife Debbie at the birth of their first child, daughter Caitlin Ray. 14 hours later, he was back here and shattered the qualifying record as a rookie to put his Pontiac on the pole. And then Saturday afternoon in the final practice session, he shattered his Pontiac in a third turn wall at 180 miles an hour. Today, he starts a backup car. This Pontiac will go to the back of the field.
How about the performance of Roush Racing so far? 3 cars in the top 10, led by Mark Martin, Ted Musgrave, and the guy that runs runner-up, Jeff Burton. But you would think Burton would be in the field. He didn't even qualify. You'd also think that maybe he'd be able to get a ride with an unsponsored car, someone like Elton Sawyer. Well, they went and asked Elton Sawyer's crew chief, Mike Hill, if they could start this car to gain points. What Mike Hill said is, look, we're in the Winston Cup points chase just like you are. If we put Burton in the car today, in 2 weeks at Darlington, it would be Sawyer back in the car, and we'd be trying to beat you.
Bobby Hamilton drives the STP Pontiac. For a car owner, we simply call the king. Richard Petty won 200 races as a driver. Bobby Hamilton has only started 141, but he's been painfully close to victory lane. If owner and driver can combine for win number 201 today, the state of Georgia will see a wild party Scarlett O'Hara would be proud of.
Last year, Major League Baseball crowned the new Iron Man as Cal Ripken eclipsed the mark that has stood for years. In less than a month, motorsports will do the same. Today, Corpus Christi, Texas native Terry Labonte will start his 510th consecutive race, which puts him just 3 away from tying the once thought to be unreachable mark of 5:13 set for the now retired Richard Petty. Now, Terry Labonte has been coming here 35 times. but has never won a Winston Cup race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And with Johnny Benson going to the back of the pack, Labonte's Kellogg Chevy moves to the pole. So Bob Jenkins today, the odds are in Terry Labonte's favor.
That's right, because in the last 6 races here in Atlanta, there has not been a repeat winner. We haven't had a repeat winner so far this year. Jeff Gordon came to this event last year and emerged as 1995's first repeat winner. We'll see how things go here today. Benny, what are these drivers thinking about right now?
They're thinking about how they're going to tackle this Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's just over 1.5 miles in length, but folks, turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are over a half mile. There's just no time for the drivers to relax. They've got to figure out how to get through these big corners for 500 miles, Bob.
It's quite a place. Paul Page has a closer description.
500 miles here, that's 328 laps. And as Benny suggested, for 2/3 of that lap, you're in the turn at 24-degree banking. And as Johnny Benson has already had his problems here, he's not the only one. You think it's tough out there in the crowd. How about Alone and Joe Nemechek in Friday's qualifying? So he will start in the back as well. Well, the cars are out rolling on this beautiful track, but don't let the blue sky be deceptive. We'll be back for a start.
Protect your engine. Remember, pure oil now, pure oil later. Purolator. Sunday after Sunday, we believe in putting on our best. Maybe that's why no car company has won more races in the history of NASCAR than Chevrolet. Put 700 of the world's most powerful horses together, and what do you get? Get out of the way. The Budweiser Ken Schrader stock car. See you at the races.
ABC Sports coverage of the Purolator 500. Brought to you by Purolator Filters. Pure oil now, pure oil later. Purolator. Chevrolet. One car company has won more races in the history of NASCAR. Genuine Chevrolet. Smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. And the more than 1,250 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Welcome back to Atlanta for the Purolator 500. On the line in purse today, nearly $1.5 million, including, of course, the Unical bonus, $106,000. If Johnny Benson, the pole winner, can manage to get up to the front and win the race. And the Winston bonus, $20,000 for whoever can win the race, assuming they can also lead in the point standings at the end of the day. Now let's take a look at the starting grid.
Johnny Benson, despite the fact that he goes to the pack, will be the official pole sitter for this race, eligible for the Unical bonus money. Mark Martin will start outside of row number 1. In the second row, Terry Labonte in the Kellogg Chevrolet, and Jeremy Mayfield has his best career start.
And back in row 3, Jeff Bodine and Bobby Hamilton. Off to a great start is Hamilton. And John Andretti and Bobby Labonte make up for row 4. Andretti also doing well in 1996. Hutch Strickland and Dallenbach will make up row 5.
Blake Speed will start from 11th position, and Joe Nemechek, who crashed on Friday, will go to the back of the pack. Darrell Waltrip has the inside slot in row number 7. He's a 5-time winner here, and a sophomore driver, Robert Presley. Ricky Craven, who won the Rookie of the Year honors last year, starts 15th, and Ward Burton will go 16th.
Back in row 9 is Dick Trickle, replacing Loy Allen, who was injured in Rockingham, and Dale Earnhardt, who dominated this race last fall in row 9. He'll be the car to beat today. That's Brad Bodine in row 10 and Ricky Rudd.
And as we look at the rest of the starting lineup, you'll notice that Jeff Gordon, the defending NASCAR Winston Cup champion, has a starting berth in row number 11. And he was the winner of this event a year ago. Cars are making 4 warm-up laps here today simply because it is so cold. They want to make sure that the engine temperatures are up and that the tires are heated up before they take the green flag and go off for 328 laps of racing on this 1.5-mile racetrack, going for almost $1.5 million.
There we see Dale Jarrett in row 18. He's got good company back there because in row 19 we find his teammate Ernie Irvin along with Kenny Wallace.
And here are the drivers that took provisional starts, Mike Wallace and Jimmy Spencer. And the 41st starter here today is Dave Marcus.
And Mike Wallace is celebrating his 37th birthday today.
Dave Marcus, by the way, is starting his 48th race here. Now we have several onboard cameras for you. We'll start from the rear of the field in 36th starting position. That's the roof cam on Dale Jarrett's machine. Kyle Petty will start in 33rd position. That's the Briggs & Stratton in-car camera for us.
And Michael Walker will start 27th, the Citgo Ford Thunderbird, that car runs very, very well here. Brett Bodine, the MTD yard machine on board his car, on the roof of his car.
And starting just ahead of him in 17th position will be the Dick Trickle roof cam. And with a clear view of the pace car up in the front row, on the outside of the front row, as a matter of fact, there's the Valvoline Ford driven by Mark Martin. The drivers who failed to qualify for this event include Jeff Burton, Steve Seligman, and Randy McDonald. Burton second in points going into this event. Quite a blow for that Roush team, but Jeff will be back to race another day. Today's field consists of 24 Fords, 12 Chevrolets, and 5 Pontiacs. 41 cars set to go. The lights atop the pace car are off, and we are set to go racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Although it's not a capacity crowd, it is a good crowd considering the weather conditions here. Very cool at Atlanta. Here comes the field off of corner number 4, now being led by Terry Labonte, and the green flag is waving. Has grabbed the lead here as the cars are entering the west end of the racetrack.
And there we see Andretti and Hamilton side by side. That's the first race that we see side by side. When we talked to the fellows in the garage here, Mark Martin was the main consistently mentioned when you talked about a car that was really running fast. Now it looks like Hamilton. I thought he was going to get away from Andretti, but not so. Here comes Andretti back on the inside.
Andretti and Hamilton had on-track skirmishes at Richmond last weekend, resulting in a $2,000 fine for John Andretti, who's in car number 37 on the bottom of the racetrack. And here's the battle for second as the 98 of Jeremy Mayfield goes to the inside and picks up second place, putting Mark Martin back to third.
Jeremy Mayfield, the 98 car, told me this morning is the best car he's ever had here.
Looking good here in the early going as Terry Labonte, though, has pulled out to a rather substantial lead. And back of that group here is Hutch Strickland in the A car, racing side by side now, losing the position to Wally Dolan back in 15. But look at the black number 3. That's, of course, Dale Earnhardt. Moving up alongside is Darrell Waltrip.
Earnhardt started 18th, up 6 positions to 12th in just 2 laps.
The scoring pylon on the upper left of your screen will show you the top 10, and the positions will change as they change on the racetrack, not necessarily at the line. Now Bobby Hamilton losing some positions up high on the racetrack as Bobby Labonte and Wally Dallenbach both have been able to pass him, and now 3 wide going into 4.
Earnhart on the bottom of the racetrack, getting by Hutch Strickland and Bobby Hamilton. Cars 2 by 2 behind Hamilton and Ward Burton. That's Ward in the 22 car. Robert Preston in 33. There's the defending champion, Jeff Gordon, in the multicolored 24 car.
The first 4 cars are...
And Andretti is off the pace. Slow and he's right in front of Hamilton, and Hamilton has to slow to avoid him.
Boy, Hamilton had to slam on the brakes hard to avoid running into John Andretti, whose car just simply quit running, it looked like, or at least slowed substantially coming off the second turn. And Andretti is dropping to the rear of the pack and obviously is headed for pit road. Tough break for the former IndyCar driver. This had to be a scary moment for several drivers. Andretti off the pace right here, and look at Hamilton climb on the brakes.
Had to slam on the brakes, and here comes Kenny Schrader, and he was lucky to avoid the Andretti car.
That could have resulted in a very serious accident, but he has a flat left rear tire, we understand, right, Jerry Punch?
Bob, that's exactly the problem. Can you believe the kind of luck this young man has? He comes in, the left rear tire almost completely shredded off his Kmart Little Teacher's Ford, and now the Kranefuss Haas crew going to learn from the John Andretti car, changing left side tires. He is down and away, but he has lost a lot of time.
Bad break for John Andretti, who rolls back out onto the racetrack, but the field is coming off the corner, completing lap number 7. It's Terry Labonte leading the early stages of the Purolator 500.
It's 400 miles of rocky, rutted trails with enough bumps and jumps to shake a truck to pieces. But if you think an endurance race through the Arizona desert is a real torture test for a truck, just imagine what it can do to a battery. That's why Parker 400 winners Dan Smith and Dave Ashley chose a battery they could depend on to go the distance. The Duralast battery. The same Duralast you can depend on for your car, because it's the one we stock at AutoZone. The Duralast battery. Power you can depend on.
McDonald's presents future Olympic hopefuls, Carlos Tapia Ruano and his innovative soccer style. Uda Grunewald, whose backstroke could stun the world. The powerful Nosovitsky, weightlifting. Kelly Peterson, equestrian events. Bob Watson, rings. And Jacques Bouclé, a natural for discus. McDonald's is proud to sponsor today's U.S. Olympic team and to keep the dream alive for tomorrow's hopefuls.
Re-engineering results in a paradigm shift in the corporate matrix.
What? Experiencing system overload? We're going to crash. Better click on Office Max. The office product superstore, electronics, computers, software. With great brand names like Sharp or Hewlett-Packard. At guaranteed low prices that will re-engineer your budget. You can even shop online. Get the latest business technology without even shifting your paradigm. Whatever that means. Office Max. We go to the max for you.
No trendy health club. No $60 shorts. No excuses. Speed Stick's no-nonsense formula gives you 110% protection. Like you, it never quits.
By men. Oh, well, I'm the kind of life that helps to get you going. When you're on your own out on the road, it's such a comfort knowing you got the Snake Light from Black & Decker. I get around, I'm the Snake Light.
Back in Atlanta at the Purolator 500, Terry Labonte continues to lead over Jeremy Mayfield. But, boy, there have been some moves through the field, most notably the 3-car of Dale Earnhardt. Started 18, and now Earnhardt runs in 4th position. Also, Jeff Gordon started back in 21st place, and he now runs 8th. And what about the fortunes of Johnny Benson, the pole winner who had his accident and therefore had to start in the back? Well, he started in the back, and he stayed there. He now runs 39th.
And 2 cars are already down a lap while we were away. Lake Speed made an unscheduled pit stop and lost a lap. And, of course, we heard about John Andretti, who also lost a lap because of an early pit stop. Jerry?
Let me show you what happened to John Andretti. See this little hole right here? Something came in the tread of the tire and actually cut the tire. That's what's left of the left rear tire of John Andretti as it was shredded away. Now let me show you Lake Speed's right front tire. I rolled it in here. He had the same problem. A piece of something cut the right front tire on Lake Speed's car and just sheared away the tread. That's the inner liner inside, the tire within a tire that allows you to come back to pit road without losing or damaging the race car. 2 drivers, misfortune early, both laps down.
John Andretti in his 5th race here. His best finish was in November of '94. He finished 13th. Here is Terry Labonte, who now becomes the first driver to lead all races so far in 1996. There are 2 others who have led the other races so far that haven't led yet today. They are Dale Jarrett and Jimmy Spencer.
Bobby Hamilton. You see a group of cars led by Dale Jarrett, Brett Bodine, and Kenny Wallace, a Square D car. And there we see Nemechek in the Burger King. That's in the backup car.
That's about 33rd, 34th, 35th, 36th on back as Dale Jarrett tries to work his way back to the front of the field where he is accustomed to running, at least this year. But a poor qualifying performance here this weekend. There's Mike Wallace in car number 90 going to the inside of Rick Mast. Here's the view from Brett Bodine's roof cam.
It looks like it's real smooth on the racetrack, and they're running 50 miles an hour. Folks, right now, Brett Bodine is running about 190 as he peels off down in turn 1.
And Benny, you can run 190 miles an hour, but if you start in the back of the field, it is almost impossible to move up quickly, and Dale Jarrett is experiencing that right now.
He's having a lot of problems because traffic on this racetrack. There isn't one preferred groove or one preferred place to run on the racetrack, and they all try to run there, and he has to somehow work around those cars in front of him.
Showing you a full field summary indicating where your favorite driver is running. And here's more from Bill Weber.
Well, the man that's leading the Winston Cup Points Championship race planned on running better than he qualified. In fact, the team very optimistic this morning. However, Dale Jarrett so far very, very loose on the racetrack. So they're working out between driver and crew how they're going to tighten up that car. But you've got to pedal here because the leaders are coming in a hurry. Jack Arute has an update on Johnny Benson.
And Bill, that's exactly the same situation with Johnny Benson. You know, they didn't get a chance to really shake this car down because it was in the last practice session they lost their pole winning mount. He has reported to his Pennzoil crew that he is very, very loose. So, gentlemen, don't look for him to make a move up to the front until he makes his first stop on pit road, and they can begin to adjust on that car.
So you got to have handling here at this racetrack because the corners are so long, but I would guess, Benny, that it's also a very physically demanding racetrack, and Johnny Benson suffered a crash yesterday that has resulted in his going to a backup car, but he's pretty banged up and bruised and sore, and that's going to also play a factor in the race.
This racetrack is very hard on the neck muscles because if the car trying to throw the body out the right side of the car, you're holding your head up, and we know that he had to stretch his neck ligaments, and his neck is very, very sore. I'm talking about Johnny Benson in the 30 car. Meanwhile, we see Terry Labonte in the 5 car trying to put another lap on Lake Speed, who had that unscheduled pit stop.
That would be the second lap that he is down to the leader if Terry Labonte can pass Lake Speed. Well, who better to talk about medical situations than our own doctor, Jerry Putch.
Bob spoke with Johnny Benson this morning. He was having a hard time. He was actually sitting in the race car in the garage trying to help the guys assemble the backup car, and he could hardly move. It took him a little while even to get out of the race car. He said, "Can you help me out?" The belts where he had the belts on, and thankfully he had them on very tight, pulled his ribs, and he's very, very sore in his sternum, the breastbone. Keep it down there now, keep it down. Either side of Johnny Benson. But the primary concern, as you said, Benny, is the neck, and he also had a headache. His helmet hit the steering wheel and actually buckled the steering wheel in the top of the helmet. He said normally it takes a couple days to be sore. He said I was sore before I even climbed out of the race car, and I did not sleep at all last night.
Oh, man.
There you see the 3rd place car, Jeff Bodine. He was on the back bumper of Jeremy Mansfield, the 2nd place car in 98 just a moment ago. But he has fallen back, and here comes Earnhardt, who's 4th, and Mark Martin.
Mark Martin has fallen back from his 2nd starting position to 5th. Dale Earnhardt has moved up from his starting position all the way to 4th.
Earnhardt's progress has slowed. He marched through the first 10 cars like Grant took Richmond, but now he has slowed a little bit.
And Jeff Gordon is back in 7th position. And finally turned things around in his poor start in the 96 season with a win at Richmond last weekend. Here's Ricky Craven in the 41 car to the inside and passing Ward Burton in car number 22. And Ricky Craven has gotten off to a great start this year. And although perhaps it's not reflected in the points, he has had a great year. His best finish so far has been a 3rd at Rockingham, but he has run well in every race. And you see now that Terry Labonte has indeed put another lap on the number 9 car of Lake Speed, and he's about to lap John Andretti a 2nd time. our scoring pylon will give you an indication of the make that the driver is in, Chevy, Pontiac, or Ford, in addition to the top 10 standings and 305 laps out of 328 to go. So Labonte with a comfortable lead at the moment here over Jeremy Mayfield and Jeff Bodine. In the early stages, only 24 laps have been completed in the Purolator 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Jerry Labonte looking for his first win of the 1996 season, but he has run well in all of them. We'll be right back.
Protect your engine. Remember, Pure Oil now, Pure Oil later.
Purolator.
Innovation, leadership, style. The all-new Polaris 1996 ATVs are ready for inspection. You won't believe your eyes. Check out the Sportsman 500, the only ATV with a 4-stroke liquid-cooled 500cc engine, shaft drive, and independent rear suspension. For hunting, working, or just plain getting around, there's nothing like a Polaris ATV. Choose your model today.
At Prime Star, we think everybody should be able to enjoy mini-dish satellite television. At the same time, we believe that nobody should have to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to buy a dish. So with Prime Star, there's no equipment to buy. Our dish comes with the service, along with 95 channels, digital picture, digital sound. And it all starts at about $1 a day. Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR and enjoy.
Enter the Performance Zone with Split-Fire Performance V spark plugs.
Get your passing gear, you're gone. The difference in gas mileage has been fantastic.
Split-Fire Performance V spark plugs mean better performance, more horsepower, and better mileage. So say the experts and the people who use them.
They're the best plugs I ever put in my car.
Enter the Performance Zone only with Split-Fire Performance Vs, guaranteed.
Take 12 of the world's top drivers, put them in identical cars and let them loose at Daytona. It's the first test in the International Race of Champions. Next on ABC Sports.
Welcome back to live coverage of the Purolator 500 NASCAR Winston Cup race from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Terry Labonte is leading the field right now with Jeremy Mayfield running second.
But Dale Earnhardt very definitely on the charge. He was able to move out and around Jeff Bodine and now is in third place. Back behind Earnhardt, Bodine seems to be struggling now just a little bit, and Mark Martin just behind him.
And you see that Jeff Gordon has moved up to 6th spot, gained 2 spots.
And Jack Arute can perhaps explain why Jeff Bodine has dropped back a few positions here in the recent going.
Well, guys, it looks like it could be a potentially terminal problem for the QBC car, Jeff Bodine. He reported early on that the car had a slight push, but he was very happy with it. But that push began, and the next thing he knew, he said he has a very serious vibration in the motor. According to Paul Andrews and their chassis expert, Bob Cuneo, it's most likely a terminal problem with the motor.
But certainly no problem for Dale Earnhardt, who has just blown by Jeremy Mayfield and taken second position. So Earnhardt is marching toward the front of the field.
That's Jeremy Mayfield's radio spotter that's kind of coaching Mayfield around the racetrack. He told him that that's a good line. In other words, his lap time, they clock each lap. His lap time was good.
The spotters are positioned high above the racetrack so they can see what's going on and really are the eyes of the driver. And there is the leader, Terry Labonte, and you can see how much of a advantage he has on second place, Dale Earnhardt.
Never see Earnhardt. I don't guess we have to guess who the spotter was talking about when he said following his tracks.
Yep.
Mark Martin pulls up right on the back bumper of Mayfield.
You tell him clear was clear now.
Mark is getting off the corner. That means that Jeremy Mayfield's car is getting a little bit loose, having to play with the throttle as he exits the corner, and you can see that Mark is pulled up.
Johnny Benson has come into the pits. He's making his way slowly down to his pit area as Mark Martin goes to the inside of Jeremy Mayfield and picks up third position.
Well, I don't know about
it. Inside.
And he will now.
Keep her down now. Keep it down.
Here's Jackaroo.
We told you about that loose condition on Johnny Benson. It was too loose for him to even drive, so the team elected to bring him in. They put 2 rounds of light in the left rear. They're going to change the tires, take advantage of the stop, but it won't get him out of sequence.
They haven't had any laps of practice on that car. He crashed yesterday afternoon in the last practice with about 30 minutes to go. They pulled this car out of the truck. He had to go through an inspection procedure. They did not get this car on the racetrack. When they threw the green flag today, was the first lap that Benson had in a car, and you just cannot set the cars up in the garage here so it'll be right on the racetrack.
He became a new daddy late last week, but then things after he won the pole position began to go sour on him with that crash yesterday afternoon in the final practice period. Here now is Jeff Gordon, who is moving up to challenge Jeremy Mayfield. This is the battle for 4th spot. Gordon in the 24 to the inside and taking the position from...
All right, get back at the bottom now. Good job, good job.
And that's the spotter telling him now that Gordon is around you. Get back to the bottom so that you can prevent the 7 car from moving up. That's Jeff Bodine. And Ricky Craven has moved up well here in the early going. He is 5th in the point standings coming into this event, 124 behind the leader, Dale Jarrett.
And Bobby Labonte. So there's a pretty good battle from about 5th back to 8th.
Finish has been a 17th at Daytona this year. He finished 2nd in this race last year.
There's Nemechek, who had to go to a backup car after we saw earlier. He crashed during qualifying on Friday. He had 1 qualifying lap in, good enough to start in 12th spot, but crashed on his 2nd lap. Meanwhile, Craven has caught Bodine on the behind the 87 car. Thought he was going to try to go to the outside, did not do it. They will all fall in line and pass Nemechek. Now later in the race, they will not be so gentlemanly. They'll make it about 3 abreast.
Salt Lake Speed there, who's now 8 laps behind. He has also made a 2nd unscheduled pit stop, so things are not going well for Lake Speed. There is the 3 car of Dale Earnhardt, who is up to 2nd position, and is he catching the leader, Terry Labonte?
Were you asking me? Yes, he's gaining just a little bit.
How about it, Jerry?
Well, he is reeling him in, but right now Earnhardt is setting into a very comfortable pace. The car is a little bit tight coming off the corner, got a little bit of a push coming off the corner. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment on their pit stop. Now, this is the race car that likes to come from the back of the field. Last October at Charlotte, Earnhardt took a champion provisional and started 43rd. As you look at Terry Labonte, the guy he's chasing, Earnhardt came from 43rd at Charlotte all the way to 2nd. He started 18 today and is making his way toward the front, Bob.
Well, Dale Earnhardt has the all-time record here. He started in 31st position back in 1980 and went on to win this race.
I do not drive to work. I do not drive to get from point A to point B. I do not drive to run away from the world. I just love to drive.
The new 1996 Monte Carlo. Personal space from genuine Chevrolet.
In Floyd's Knobs, Indiana, people drive for miles around just to see Don Ballard. Because when it comes to car repair, well, there's not much he can't fix. You see, Don's the type of guy who believes that doing a job right and saving money go hand in hand. So he begins each job with a trip to AutoZone. Sure, it's a 20-mile drive. There are other parts stores along the way. But for Don, when it comes to getting the right part for the right price, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
To protect your engine, remember, pure oil now, pure oil later.
Purolator.
How does Shaquille O'Neal get fired up for a game? With the scorching new 4-alarm double-decker taco from Taco Bell. It's the hottest new way to bring soft and crunchy together in one big fiery taste. The new 4-alarm double-decker taco, only at Taco Bell.
Is it hot in here, or is it just me?
Brazilian Emerson Fittipaldi welcomes the world's top drivers to his home turf. It's the IndyCar Rio 400 next Sunday on ABC.
Back in Atlanta for the Purolator 500 on a cold, crisp, but bright day here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. All the crowd bundled up here at this track, but nevertheless, they're here keeping track of their champions, and there is a great cheer as the battle joins at the front. Earnhardt has come all the way from the back of the field and is now ready to challenge Terry Labonte for the lead.
Dale Earnhardt started 18th, and he is now in second. And look at how he has closed in on the leader, Terry Labonte. We timed him laps 39 through 42. And there you see the individual times on the laps, but notice the interval went from 2.5 seconds on lap 39 to 0.8 of a second on lap 42, and Earnhardt is consistently faster than Terry.
But just notice how consistent that he is. All of his laps, 31.2 seconds or 31.3 seconds. And you can only do that when your car is really working well.
Ricky Rudd is in for an unscheduled pit stop. Here's Jerry.
A lot of drivers complaining of cars getting very, very loose on the racetrack. In the Ricky Rudd pit, he changed all 4 tires down and away in about 23.5 seconds of crew. Now, I'm going to check the tires to make sure he didn't have one going down, and we'll check in and record in just a moment.
I said unscheduled pit stop. Probably not all that true, because we're predicting that the pit window will be somewhere around lap 55, so they're a little bit early, but we will begin to see more pit stops as the laps click off here in the next few. And now look at the interval between first and second. It's only a matter of car lengths as Labonte comes up on some slower traffic. Ted Musgrave is just ahead, running in 29th position.
And we see that Earnhardt is closed up right on the back bumper of Labonte and is going to make a pass for the lead and is alongside. And I believe he'll get him down in turn 1.
They're 3 wide at the line, and now Labonte will fall back into second spot as Dale Earnhardt has taken the lead in the Purolator 500.
A couple more cars that are really moving up. Rusty Wallace in the 2 and Sterling Marlin. Rusty started in 22nd. Sterling Marlin started in 28th. And you see they're currently running in the 5th and 6th spot.
Sterling Marlin began this race in 28th position. On lap 9 had moved to 17th. And the steady progress up to 7th place here at lap number 48.
Excuse me, make that 6th and 7th instead of 5th and 6th. And they're closing up on the back bumper of Jeremy Mayfield. That's Jeremy, the red, white 98 in front of the 2 of Rusty Wallace.
Jeremy Mayfield's car owned by Cale Yarborough, the former Winston Cup champion. Here now is Marlin on the high side of Rusty Wallace in the 4th corner, coming onto the main straightaway.
And you can see that Rusty realizing he's there, and spotters tell him he's on the outside and gives him all kinds of room. Bill Weber?
Benny, Sterling Marlin, extremely fast here. In fact, depending on your watch and your finger, they have him down here in the 4 pit as the fastest car on the racetrack. He runs extremely well here. A 7th in this race a year ago, a 2nd here last fall. The car that finished 2nd is the same one Sterling Marlin.
Outside.
Going around Jeremy Mayfield and trying to rope in the leaders.
Yeah, he has passed Rusty Wallace.
Side again.
By Jeremy Mayfield, but so does Rusty Wallace.
I keep her down now. You're on clear.
Here comes Ricky Craven up behind in the 41 car. Going to move Mayfield back another spot.
And the 88 of Dale Jarrett, the points leader in NASCAR Winston Cup racing, is going a lap down. It's a 26th spot. Earnhardt has passed him.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dale Jarrett doesn't hit pit road and get 4 fresh tires. And he's going. Earnhardt's coming in the pit. What happened to Earnhardt?
Well, he has slowed.
Earnhardt is very slow, and did he run out of fuel?
I don't know, but he is coming into the pits. All of a sudden, the car just stopped running like it was, at least, and here comes Earnhardt in for a pit stop on lap number 53. Earnhardt gives up the lead. Here's Jackaroo.
This would have to be considered at least a nominal pit stop scheduled, but again, the team complaining about handling problems. Better to come in, take on fresh tires, make a change in the chassis adjustment. In the case of Bobby Hamilton, you're doing it in a situation with air pressure. Let's check in with Earnhardt's pit.
By their calculations, they could run 61 laps on fuel, but they didn't check them again because Earnhardt ran out of gas on lap 54. The car was not running when it coasted down pit road. It still has not refired. Now the car fires, and he pulls away, but a costly mistake. As Dale Jarrett is on pit road, Bill Weber is there.
Technical term on the 88 car, way off. Loose going in, loose coming out. The 88 is in. His teammate Ernie Irvin in the 28 car pitted right behind him. The 88 car and the 28 both going to try and make chassis adjustments. They are now racing the track instead of the field. 4 tires for each of these cars, and Dale Jarrett's away. Jeff Gordon is on pit road, and Terry Labonte's also headed your way.
Terry Labonte waiting, his crew waiting for him to make his way down to his pit stop. For Jeff Gordon, they had to make a chassis adjustment as he pulls away. They were concerned about the car being a little bit pushy and got loose when they were behind cars. Meanwhile, for Terry Labonte, the Kellogg's crew goes to work, and it is just a normal pit stop, waiting to see if any chassis adjustments are made. No, but that doesn't mean they're not adjusting on the chassis. It means that they've made minor adjustments through air pressure on the tires. It's a 4 stop, and Bobby Labonte directly ahead of Terry Labonte, because now his crew is scheduled to come on the pit road.
Well, Bobby Labonte picked up the lead briefly, but he is now coming in for a pit stop, so the positions are shuffling here as green flag pit stops are being made. Jack, Bobby is in.
You know, Bob, it's so great when you're able to say, I've led the Purolator 500. That was the case for Bobby Labonte, but he knew he had to come down on the pit road. These are normal pit stops. Nothing to get you overly concerned about at this point in time, because there is so much time to go. So the crew just goes about their business, checks the tires when they come off to actually get a read on how the car was operating. Labonte is off and away.
Not only can you brag about leading the Purolator 500, but it gives you 5 bonus points in the NASCAR Winston Cup point system. So Bobby Labonte did lead there briefly, and look at this on the racetrack. It's Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt and Terry Labonte all lined up in a row, passing the 87 car. Nemechek and Earnhardt, the middle man in that 3-wide situation, emerges on top.
Rusty tried to come back, could not make it. Meanwhile, all 3 of these cars have stopped. This is a race for position between these 3 cars. Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, and Terry Labonte.
So, the race goes on after the first set of green flag pit stops here at Atlanta. And we'll be back after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
Kenny Bernstein's Budweiser King Top Fuel Dragster. Who says you need wings to fly?
Wednesday, would Ellen rather go broke than take a handout from Audrey's parents?
That's 1/10 of an indecent proposal.
Carol King guest stars on the new Ellen. Then,
Remember when you were in junior high and you thought your teachers were a little weird?
If you cannot hear this message, please send someone to the office immediately.
Turns out you were right.
Meredith Baxter stars in the premiere of The Faculty Wednesday.
Are you ready to rock the house, baby? It's Mercury Madness! It's unbelievable, baby! It's unbeatable! The all-new, all-star, all-world Mercury Sable, now with awesome financing or big cash back. Mercury Villager, this team busts a lot with this mega bonus. Mercury Grand Marquis, you're gonna love this car all the way to the bank. Time to cut the nut and start celebrating.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Imagine that, baby.
When I buy auto parts, I want to talk to people who really know what they're doing. The parts pros at Discount Auto Parts. I depend on these folks, like Rich here. I know him, he knows me. He gets me the right part at the right price every single time.
Save on Valvoline motor oil, only 98 cents a quart. Save on Haviland, too, just 94 cents a quart for any weight you choose. Limit 12.
You work on your car? Go with the pros you know.
Go with the pros you know. At Discount Auto Parts.
28 Tampa Bay News, working hard to be your favorite.
Back at the Purolator 500 Atlanta Motor Speedway, we've had green flag for 63 laps right from the start of the race. Don't forget, coming up next from Daytona, the International Race of Champions. Guys like Earnhardt, Sterling Marlin, Jeff Gordon, and the other NASCAR greats take on IndyCar and road racing. The IROC, that's next here on ABC Sports. And speaking of some of the top names in the sport, Rusty Wallace has just moved into the lead, coming around Dale Earnhardt. Labonte is right there in third, knocking on the door for Earnhardt.
Great racing here after the first series of pit stops. Rusty Wallace grabbed the lead from Dale Earnhardt, and this is how he did it.
Coming off turn 4, Rusty gets the grip on the inside, gets position, goes down in turn 1, and takes that spot away from Earnhardt. And Terry Labonte, meanwhile, right back there watching all this as it goes on.
And for Rusty Wallace, it's the first time that he has led a race here in Atlanta since he switched to a Ford in March 1994.
Kenny Wallace had a great start in 1996. Car not up to speed today. Earnhardt looked on the inside of Rusty Wallace. Man, those cars look equal today.
Come up on Brett Bodine and about to put him another lap down. He's already 2 laps down, back in 36th.
At the end of the day, I'm sure the NASCAR hopes that 2 and 3 cars do not have any kind of cross stay in one piece, because at the end of the day, they will be taking 2 cars up to the wind tunnel here at the Lockheed Wind Tunnel. Ooh, and there's a car sideways in front of Brett Bodine. Chuck Bound having all kinds of problems.
Man, close call for Chuck.
Anyway, they will take the cars to the wind tunnel today, test them for the next 2 days, trying to find out if the rules are competitive, that the Fords and Chevrolets and Pontiacs are equal as far as aerodynamics are concerned. And we see Labonte having some trouble getting around traffic, has lost a couple car lengths to Wallace and Earnhardt.
Gary Nelson, the Winston Cup race director, told the drivers in the drivers meeting this morning to keep the fenders on the top 3 finishing cars, so they have a nice clean car to take to the wind tunnel this coming week. The 95 car of Chuck Bound, who came close to crashing a few minutes ago, is coming in for a pit stop. Bound bringing the Shoney's machine down pit road very slowly. Speed limit is 55 miles an hour on pit road. Meanwhile, Earnhardt continues to dog.
A great battle back there between Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, Robert Presley. That's Presley in the 33, and Jeremy Mayfield, Bobby Labonte in 18, and Sterling Marlin in the 4 car. All those cars racing for position.
The exception in that group is the 37 car of John Andretti, which is not on the lead lap. He had trouble early on having a flat tire. And Jack Arute has an update on the tire wear.
Well, Bob, remember during the pit stops we said that these stops, what really happens after the stop is what's important. Tires, especially in Winston Cup racing, are literally the report card for the performance of a car. A driver will tell you what the car feels like it's doing, but the tires that come off, especially during the first stop, they will tell you without a doubt what the car is doing. Because what crews will do is they will measure the tire temperature on all 4 tires. They will take those measurements, put them on a sheet of paper. When they match it up, it'll tell you based upon those temperatures whether the car is pushing, whether it's loose. That's based upon how much heat are in the tires. The next thing that the crews do, they check these wear bars here to see if they've been able to get sufficient wear with the tire between pit stops. Now, these are the tires that came off of Bobby Labonte's car. Everything seems to be A-OK here. That's the way they want it for all the 500 laps, 500 miles.
And speaking of getting loose, take a look at what happened just a lap or 2 ago out there on the racetrack as we watch Rusty Wallace continuing to lead Dale Earnhardt.
There we see Mike Wallace in the 90. A little bit of contact from Jeff Bodine, and Mike does a great job saving that. Look at the cars. 6 of them all in a wad.
Man, good descriptive word there. Well, up front, it is just a separation of about 2 car lengths as Dale Earnhardt now begins once again to close in on the leader, Rusty Wallace. That's back at about 14th, Benny. And 3 cars are involved. It's the 10 of Rudd, the 41 of Craven, and the 43 of Hamilton. And Craven is going to emerge onto the straightaway with the advantage there.
Hamilton, the STP car, did not get off the mark very well, but he adjusted the car on the pit stop. It looks like he's up to speed now.
Good run for the 10 car, Jerry Punch.
Indeed, Bob. Look what I'm going to show you here. This looks like a very simple napkin or a hot dog wrapper. This was the cost of Ricky Rudd's unscheduled pit stop 10 laps early. This wrapper was on the front grill and caused the car temperature to begin to go up. The car began overheating. He had no choice. He had to come in and pit early, or else the car would have blown the engine. They pulled this napkin off. The temperature came back down. Just a moment ago, Ricky Rudd came in, had a problem. Brett Bodine came in, had a problem with the car being loose. They put this rubber insert, or one just like it, in the right front spring. You put it in the right front spring, it cocks the car back on the rear, which helps tighten the car up. Hopefully that'll solve the problem for the 11 car of Brett Bodine.
Sterling Marlin continues his march forward in the number 4 car.
Good job, this team's open. Stay smooth now. Let's get ready to get 24 car. Stay smooth now.
Dennis Beaver, the spotter, telling Jeremy Mayfield, stay smooth, catch that 24 car and pass it.
Meanwhile, Terry Labonte now has closed right in on Dale Earnhardt. He slipped back a few spots there, or at least a few feet on the racetrack a few laps ago, but now is up challenging Dale Earnhardt for second. There are your top 3 cars right there, Wallace, Earnhardt, and Terry Labonte. And if you'll notice, in 10th position is the 28 car of Ernie Irvan. Watch on your scoring pylon there in the upper left of your screen. You'll see the 28 car in 10th position. And there is Ernie, who has moved up from his 37th starting position. There you can see on lap 24, he was in 24th, and a nice run for Ernie Irvan.
And you saw Bill Elliott has right behind Ernie Irvan. He is in the 11th spot, and I'm told that Ernie Irvan right now, his lap speeds are the same as the leader.
And here's more from Bill Weber.
You're right on it, Benny. He's coming through the field like a rocket, working his way through traffic. He just told his crew. They asked him how the car was. He goes, okay. That's an understatement. They made a minor chassis adjustment during that 4-tire pit stop. Ernie Irvan is driving the same car that he dominated with Charlotte a couple of years ago. So Ernie's return to a full-time Winston Cup ride in his familiar Ford paying off here. Ernie coming.
Sterling Martin down the bottom and stay with him. We don't want to get behind him.
Jeremy trying to keep that car on the bottom of the racetrack.
Tony, I was just loose when he was behind me and I had nobody in front of him. I'm pretty good right behind somebody. Okay, just stay right there where you are, then. Stay right there. Just follow with him. He'll be okay.
That was Mayfield saying a car runs better when he runs behind somebody.
When he's behind somebody.
Just loose off. Yeah, right in the center off.
That's Tony for the crew chief.
Okay, when you're by yourself, how is it? Not bad when I'm by myself totally, but when I'm by myself and somebody's behind me, loosen the dog's ass. Okay, well, you want to tighten it up a little bit with a wedge or air pressure? I just go just a little bit, like on the bike.
A little bit on the bike. They can make the adjustments with wrenches on the top of the springs. Next pit stop.
Couple of drivers making unscheduled pit stops, including Waltrip and Johnny Benson once again. There are your top three. It's still Rusty Wallace leading Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, and Jeff Gordon in the Purolator 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway.
No automotive company has won more races over the last 30 years than Chevrolet. Yeah. To protect your engine, remember, pure oil now, pure oil later. Purolator.
I love movies. Always have. Ever since I was a kid. That's why I got Prime Star. With 95 channels, I get old movies, new movies, all kinds of movies. All in digital picture and sound. Well, I didn't have to buy the dish either. With Prime Star, there is no equipment to buy. It's all a part of the service. It all starts for about $1 a day. Life's short. Enjoy.
Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR.
You've got 700 horsepower trucks. You've got Craftsman tools. You've got heart-pounding, bone-rattling, eardrum-busting speed. What else do you need for a perfect Sunday afternoon? The all-new NASCAR Super Truck Series, brought to you by Craftsman. The only tools tough enough for super trucks.
Friday on TGIF, Garth Brooks like you've never seen him. Garth Brooks guests on Muppets Tonight. It's a whole new TGIF on ABC.
Fun with anyone.
Back in Atlanta, we've had 85 laps of green flag racing. The leaders right on a string. Wallace, Earnhardt, Terry Labonte. They're all right together on the racetrack, and there have been some interesting runs up through the field. Wallace, the current leader, for example, started back in 22nd. Earnhardt started back in 18th. Well, Terry Labonte started up on the front row. Now, the pole winner here was Johnny Benson, but he crashed yesterday in his 30 car, and he hasn't done much better than that crash. He's been struggling all day, now runs in 38th spot, 10 laps off the lead. They've been chasing a loose condition, and they're still chasing it in the pits.
And we can see from the camera above their pit area as they change 4 tires, also making a chassis adjustment. Jack Cruz, what's all they doing there?
Got to be the most frustrating situation for Bahari Racing. As you said, and we've documented, they brought this car out. They didn't have a chance to adjust upon it. This time, though, after they've been chasing the loose condition, they had a flat tire, so they had to come back in, and this just puts them several more laps down.
So Dale Earnhardt moves out around, as does Labonte. They get around Wallace. So Earnhardt back into the lead. The second round of green flag, Benny. What are they going to try to do?
They made some adjustments during that first pit stop, and now they want to find how those adjustments adjustments are working on the car and what they've got to do the next time. All I'm right now is trying to figure out what they've got to do for the next 200, 300 miles to win the race, to be perfect that last 100 miles and win the race.
Cold temperature, good for the engines. How about the tire wear?
Well, it's good for the tires. It's good for everything. The drivers are very comfortable in those cars today. It's probably a nice 75, 80 degrees in the cars. It's just uncomfortable sitting in the grandstand.
It is that. The aluminum seats here have to be really cold for these race fans, but a good crowd on hand despite the wind chill, which is just above zero.
Sterling Marlin and Jeremy Mayfield still running close together. We see Bobby Labonte, the 18 car.
Bobby Hamilton in 43, Michael Waltrip in the 21 car, and that would be for the 15th position. And now Terry Labonte is ready to take the lead back from Dale Earnhardt, and he does going into turn number 1. Let's watch what Earnhardt does as they come out of the corner. But again, there are your top 3 cars, and they're right together on the racetrack. And now Rusty Wallace looks to the inside of Dale Earnhardt at the end of the backstretch and takes second.
He'll move up the racetrack. Let's see if Earnhardt comes back on the inside. He's going to try to do that. And he did it. Of course, Rusty's coming back on the outside. Let's see how that outside groove works for Rusty. Works pretty well.
Sure does. Rusty back into second. So it's Labonte, Earnhardt, and Wallace.
There we see that's Michael Waltrip in the 21 car, Kenny Schrader in the 25, Steve Grissom 29, and Ricky Craven 41. There's Jeff Bodine in the 7 car, and Elton Sawyer in the 27. Now sort that all that for us out, Bob.
Well, not all those cars are on the same lap. Steve Grissom is a lap down in 28. However, the 25 and the 41 are battling for position 16th to be exact. Right now, Ken Schrader in the 25 is in 16th, and Ricky Craven coming up to challenge. And the 7 car of Bodine is in 18th.
And Michael Waltrip has pulled up to challenge Bobby Hamilton. That's for 14th spot. Hamilton in 14th, Michael Waltrip in 15th.
Michael Waltrip with the Wood Brothers for the first time in 1996. Finished 10th at Daytona, was 35th here a year ago in the Purolator 500.
See that Michael Waltrip goes in the corner a little bit lower than does Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton runs a very wide line, get in the corner, trying to make that corner as round as possible. But the car's a little bit loose getting in the corner. It's very difficult to do that. The car wants to turn sideways when you drive off that corner. See how much lower than Michael goes in the corner than does Hamilton?
Almost a lane difference here in the lines that they're running. Michael much lower on the racetrack than Bobby Hamilton, but Hamilton still holding the position. Your field summary will show you that there are 21 cars still on the lead lap. Dick Trickle is the last car on the lead lap.
Bobby Hillin in the 77 car was left just a couple of laps ago. He's currently in 22nd spot.
Lake Speed is the only car that has officially dropped out of the race.
75 car Morgan Shepherd was in the garage here a few moments ago. I don't know if he's going to be able to return or not. Working on an engine problem.
And the 29 car of Steve Grissom is very slow down pit road. This is the car that's sponsored by the Cartoon Network, thus Fred Flintstone there on the hood. And here is the battle for 5th spot as Sterling Marlin comes up to challenge the 24 of Jeff Gordon as Steve Grissom takes that Cartoon Network car behind the wall.
24 car, we heard Jeremy Mayfield spotter just a few laps ago said, get up there and catch that 24. Well, Sterling Marlin must have been listening because he has started. And Jeremy Mayfield is 10 or 15 car lengths behind.
Jerry Punch, what happened to Steve Grissom?
They're telling me apparently the engine started to skip in the Grissom car, the Cartoon Network car, and apparently they think they may have something internal in the engine. And they're going to take it back to the garage area, look at the ignition, look at the timing. They can't possibly get the car back out, but apparently they think it may be even more serious than initially thought.
Well, certainly no laughing matter for Steve Grissom. He finished 5th at Rockingham in a great run there. But looks like it could be an early in for Steve Grissom's day. Sterling Marlin still challenging Jeff Gordon for that 5th position.
Meanwhile, as we go back up there, we see still the battle between Jeff Gordon and Sterling Marlin. But you know, when you go back up front, there's the leader, Terry Labonte. Where's Earnhardt? Where's Rusty? He is just driven away from those two cars. There we find Rusty Wallace and Earnhardt half a straightaway behind Terry Labonte in just a couple of laps.
So after going to the front, Terry Labonte has put some real estate between himself and the rest of the field. We'll take a break and be back with more of the Purolator 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway here on ABC.
It's equal parts, sweat and steel. It's decisions made in the split of a second. And pain endured for the length of a day. And at the finish, you're either toasting victory or getting set to do it all over again next week. It's auto racing, the way we do it on the Miller team.
A race can end in many ways. Too often, so can a career. That's why when Ernie Irvan returned to racing for Texaco Haviland, people sat up and took notice. It's no surprise to us to see him, though. We've always known. For Ernie, the race isn't over until he says it's over. Welcome back to racing, Ernie. It's good to have you back on track.
At AutoZone, most of our customers are the kind of people who like to work on their cars themselves. That way they save money and they know the work's done right. Of course, when they come to AutoZone, they know they're going to find the right part for the right price. But sometimes what they're looking for is just a little advice. And that's okay because we don't put a price tag on it. You see, at AutoZone, we take pride in taking care of our customers. And we've learned that when you treat folks right, they keep coming back.
It has a 937cc liquid-cooled 16-valve engine with straight intake tracks, adjustable suspension, and an ultra-rigid twin-tube diamond-type frame. Best of all, it's comfortable on any road. The Suzuki RF 900R.
Back at the Purolator 500. Pretty cold when you sit down in those aluminum stands. They're all bundled up and watching as Terry Labonte continues his lead here in the Purolator 500. Tonight on ABC, it's an hour of America's Funniest Home Videos, followed by an all-new Lois and Clark. Then Melrose Place's Jack Wagner is an airline pilot with 3 wives, Shelley Hack, Nicole Eggert, and Joan Severance. It's the world premiere of Frequent Flyer on the Sunday night movie tonight here on ABC. Terry Labonte leads the race here. He has been the dominant power. We expect pit stops very shortly now as we just crossed the 105th lap, and we're approaching in just 2 laps the 3rd of the way, and we've been green all the way. Oh, here's Sterling Marlin slowing down.
Could he be out of fuel? Dale Earnhardt, it looks like he's wiggling the car back and forth, trying to get some fuel in the pickup. Remember, Dale Earnhardt ran out of gasoline in about 53 laps, I believe, on that first run. And Sterling Marlin, if they didn't get their car full on that first stop, he could be out of fuel.
Well, he was up battling Jeff Gordon for 5th position just a few moments ago, and now is just trying to make it back to the pits. And this has to be one of the most helpless feelings that you could ever experience, Benny.
And it happened at absolutely the worst spot on the racetrack, just after he had passed pit road, so he's got to coast the entire 1.5 miles.
Benny, down here on pit road, one of the things in surveying a lot of the crews talking about the cold weather, they said we might have to run a little richer than normal. Remember, a combustion engine mixes air, fuel to build power. That could account for some of these cars beginning to run out of fuel because it's a lot colder than they're used to running here in Atlanta, wouldn't you think?
Yes, it is, Jack. It's a lot cooler than they usually run in Atlanta. Bill Weber?
Sterling Marlin crawls into his pit stop. The motor was off. He definitely ran out of gas. He was not supposed to pit for 5 more laps. Mark Martin now joins him on pit road. So they will have to fuel his car and change 4 tires and use ether to try and get it refired. Now Sterling guns it and has it running. The 6 on pit road. Bound pit road to Jackaroo.
We're going to work on Mark Martin's car. They're going to make a change all the way around. He took off fuel. It was real quick, guys. But they're beginning to push Sterling Marlin's car because he ran out of fuel, so they've got to get the ether, try and get it refired. He does, but remember, the speed limit on pit road makes it a long trip for Sterling Marlin.
And Sterling lost 2 laps because of that incident in which he ran out of fuel and could have possibly removed himself as a contender.
As a matter of fact, he lost 3 laps because Terry Labonte just went by him again. Here comes Ted Musgrave, the Family Channel car down pit road. This is probably a scheduled pit stop for him. You see him knocking the rubber off the front grill. As these tires wear, the rubber pieces fall on the racetrack and go up and catch on the grill of the car. The crew's got to clean off those grills, otherwise the cars will overheat. Bobby Hamilton in the pits, Jackaroo.
It's a validation, guys, that you're better safe than sorry. Don't try to run the string as far out as you normally would. Bobby Hamilton, Robbie Lewis' crew chief, Richard Petty looking on. They're going to come in, take on the 2 11-gallon tanks of fuel. The first one's done. And then all of a sudden, and Earnhardt is starting to make a move as well. Hamilton is away, and it was a very quick stop.
Dale Earnhardt is still on pit road. The tires being changed on the left side of the Goodwrench Service Chevrolet. Now he's moving.
Good stop for Earnhardt. Here comes Robert Presley and Kyle Petty into the pits. Presley was running in about 11th spot when he came in.
This is the Briggs & Stratton roof cam on the top of Kyle Petty's car as we see the Coors Light team go to work. Bill Weber.
And they're going to change 4 tires as Ricky Craven pulls in behind him. Make a chassis adjustment. Darrell Waltrip now goes behind the wall. All these stops will be for 4 tires and fuel. We've raced free for 112 laps. Working on the 42.
Go straight.
Down to Jerry Punch.
Right side tires have already been changed. The Ricky Rudd's tied forward. He will change left side tires. No chassis adjustments, no air pressure change. Ricky's car running very well. Was the overheating problem. He is down and away. And the car number 98 also in. That is Jeremy Mayfield. His crew now already changing right side tires. They will change left side tires on the RCA Ford of Mayfield after qualifying well here. And the car number 5.
All the temperatures are good. Everything's cool.
Dehart calls the shots for the Kellogg's team from the Hendrick stable. Terry Labonte hits the marks. They will not, gentlemen, make any stop. And here comes the 24. Jeff Gordon streaks by the Kellogg's car of Terry Labonte. And they said, this team will make no changes. That's no surprise. They're running up front. They're just going to take on 4 tires of fuel. Meanwhile, the Jeff Gordon team, they are still trying to solve a pushing condition on the car. They went from loose to push. They overcompensated. That team is going to make a change next time through. A long stop for Terry Labonte, and he almost runs into Jeff Bodine. Almost runs into him, locks up the brakes, the chicken with Jerry Punch and Rusty Wallace.
Right side tires already on, a 2-time winner here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. No adjustment whatsoever. The car is running flawlessly here. Ford Thunderbird, his favorite race car, named Midnight, is off the jack and away.
28 car of Ernie Irvan is also coming in. The lead is being held by Bobby Labonte with these pit stops being held. Here's Bill.
Ernie Irvan started 37th, up to 2nd on the leaderboard at lap 115. 4 tire change. He told the crew a little while ago the car was a little tight, so they'll make a chassis adjustment to try and loosen it up. A few laps ago, Larry McReynolds lobbied for and got an extra man over the wall to clean the windshield. The fuel is in, the tires are on, they're waiting to drop the car. He's away, and the 18 joins him now on pit road as Ernie returns to the race.
And with Bobby Labonte relinquishing the lead for the pit stops, it gives it to the 94 car of Bill Elliott. And Remember, he ran or won a race here at Atlanta not too long ago, back in 91 or 92. And Michael Waltrip having a time getting out because he stretched the fuel mileage further than anybody else and caught a caution.
Michael had to turn around the 12 car. Here comes Elliott into the pits. He's slow, and he will make his entrance on the pit road, and that will give the lead back to Bobby. Well, Bobby Labonte's on the racetrack, so I guess that Rusty Wallace would now be.
Yeah, I think you're right, Benny, because Labonte is in, and everybody now has made pit stops. Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, he started back in 23rd, and he's a 5-time winner at Atlanta Motor Speedway. They knew they had a good race car today. Bill Elliott, last week, rolled the dice. He waited a couple laps on every pit stop. Could have come up a winner had there not been a late caution at Richmond. They may roll the dice again today, trying to get a few extra laps out of each and every pit stop. The car dies, but as you hear, Elliott refires the car. Has a little trouble now on the left front tire. They bought it to the lug nut zone. He is off the jack and away.
And ever see Jeff Bodine? That is the tool to adjust the chassis. When they were adjusting the chassis, when they let the jack down, Jeff Bodine left. He was black flag. He has to come back in and have to be removed from the car. Tough break for Jeff Bodine. Jackaroo.
Well, Benny, first we reported that he thought he had a terminal engine problem with vibration. That went away. They were putting in 2.5 rounds of bite in the left rear. They got 2 in. Bodine got over anxious. He pulled up. Made 3 or 4 actual laps before. And one of the reasons why is you see the different type of ratchet he uses. It's got a crank and a handle on it. Doesn't fall off as quickly, but also it's tough when it gets stuck out there. It's like a signpost saying black flag, black flag.
So the lead now goes back to Rusty Wallace, but look how close Dale Earnhardt is, and look how quickly he's coming up on Rusty and challenging for the lead here on lap 118.
Well, let me show you the interval back to Terry Labonte. There we see Jeff Gordon. Mark Martin is in front of Labonte. Here comes Terry Labonte in the Kellogg Chevrolet. Had some trouble on that pit stop. We can see what a few seconds in the pits means on the racetrack. Now Terry Labonte is running in 7th spot.
And a long way to the front. We'll be back with more from Atlanta Motor Speedway after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
Help. Are you doing the right thing?
Help.
Can you afford it?
Help.
What kind of strings are attached?
Help.
Suppose it doesn't work out. Help! You need some good advice before you commit to a cellular phone. Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Monday, it's high-impact drama on ABC. First, it's high-quality family entertainment on an all-new Second Noah. Then it's high-energy drama.
We got a baby in the water!
The critics call it compelling, a winner, perfection, intelligent, excellent, high incident, and it's high-powered emotion.
What's your price, counselor?
Shut up! On the critically acclaimed Murder One. Get set for 3 powerful hours of high-impact drama. Monday, here on ABC.
Our governor was misled by a few millionaire insiders who slipped through another bad-for-business law, crafted in the dark to help the state sue businesses. Now the light is dawning. Floridians and over 80% of our state legislators want to repeal the bad-for-business law. We need every vote to stand up to the governor's veto. Call us and help make sure our legislators finish the job. Florida doesn't do business in the dark.
Overheating your car just once could ruin your engine and cost you thousands of dollars. Before paying a costly repair bill, call your Barely Used Auto Parts dealer. You could save up to 75% on parts that have been cleaned, tested, and warranted. Don't get steamed over repair costs. Call your Barely Used Auto Parts dealer.
Your barely used auto parts dealers are Pasco Auto Salvage, Rigsby's Auto Salvage, Clearwater Automotive, and Brandon Auto Salvage.
28 Tampa Bay News tonight at 5.
We're back in Atlanta. In the lead is Rusty Wallace, followed by Dale Earnhardt. But remember, Terry Labonte was up here running at the front of this field. His brother, Bobby Labonte, just started smoking. And it looks like he may have a very serious problem, Jack.
Paul, anytime you see a team lift the hood on a car, you know it's a serious problem. Joe Gibbs, the owner of the Interstate Batteries number 18, not at all pleased with this, but nothing he can do about it. And it's also very difficult for a crew at this point. What they have to try and do is troubleshoot. Now, what the crew's trying to do is clean off any oil that might have gone over any of the parts. What they're doing is strictly trying to look and see, is there an oil leak? Is there something that maybe they've gotten loose? With all of the debris that comes up into the engine, they've got to clean it first. Meanwhile, it just seems like hours for young Bobby Labonte as he waits for the determination as to what the problem is. Dale Earnhardt has taken over the lead. Let's also update you on what the problem was with the long pit stop for Bobby's brother Terry. On the front tire, a lug nut got stuck. They almost cross-threaded it. They had to back up and readjust the lug nut. Let's go back upstairs because Bobby's going to be here for a while.
Well, that stop was costly for Terry Labonte. If we look way back down the track, he sits in 6th place. And as we look at the AutoZone off-track interval, that's timing from the line at the pit entrance to the pit exit. You can see the difference between Terry and Earnhardt, full 10 seconds because of a problem with the lug nut.
It was about 6 positions on the racetrack. And we'll see the next time that Earnhardt will need to pit on about lap 165 and Terry Labonte on 166. We saw, there we see Labonte is catching up with Jeremy Mayfield. That would be for a 5th spot if he can get by Jeremy. Meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt has taken the lead. Dick Trickle, the car right in front of, there we see the Health Source car right in front of Dale Earnhardt. He is a lap down. He passed Rusty Wallace to get back in the lead lap, and in doing that, he got Rusty out through. Earnhardt went by. Boy Allen, the normal driver of the Health Source car, was injured in Rockingham, and I'm told he's been in the hospital for a couple of weeks, but he is home now watching today's coverage.
Yeah, I guess they released him, and then he went back into the hospital, but the good news is he is back out of the hospital, and Roy, we wish you a speedy recovery. Dale Earnhardt with the lead. His 27th Atlanta race that he has led, and ties him with Darrell Waltrip for most races led among the active drivers. And you can see Rusty Wallace right behind Dale Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon is running 3rd, then Mark Martin and Terry Labonte with 198 laps to go. We are closing in on the halfway mark in a very quick race. The record of this particular event is 156.849 set by Dale Earnhardt in 1990. The overall record here in Atlanta is 163.6. And the speed right now is 171.6. And Jack has an update on what happened to Bobby Labonte.
We expect Bobby Labonte to go back out, but he'll be several laps down. We told you about the cleaning process. Well, the crew has isolated where the leak is coming from. Now, how do you repair it, especially when you have a temperature inside the cockpit of the engine compartment of, let's say, 180 degrees? Well, what they do is they have a plastic epoxy, and that's what the crew's working up right now. They'll slap it on the leaky area. That'll seal it down. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, this sport will humble you in a hurry. The rookie was on the pole on Friday. Then an accident yesterday afternoon. Johnny Benson is behind the wall. They're working on your Pennzoil Pontiac. You fought it. What's the problem?
Well, we're not sure exactly. You know, we didn't get any track time at all with this car, and it's, you know, these guys are doing a super job, and we're just off a little bit. There's something wrong. I'm not sure. Real loose in the center coming off, and we were going to wreck another one if we didn't make any changes. So we just decided not to take that chance. We'll come in there, see if we can't find something, and just go from there. It's been started off as a really good week, and then obviously it's not going as good as we want right now.
How's the pain?
I'm doing fine. It's kind of loosened me up a little bit, but we're going to see if we can't find something. If we can't find nothing, I don't know what we're going to do. We might load it up. If we find something, we'll go back out there, run some more laps, see if we can improve the position a little bit.
Johnny Benson, not at the front today, but you'll see him there. He's a talented rookie.
Benson was struggling with pneumonia last weekend at Richmond, and now comes here and is involved in a crash, so he's had some real physical challenges in the last couple of weeks.
You see Earnhardt right now on the white line in 3 and 4, trying to get on the inside of Dick Trickle. Why is Trickle running so hard to stay in front of Earnhardt? Folks, if the caution flag were to drop, to fall, and they slow the cars down, the pace car would pick up the leader, Dale Earnhardt, that black car. The 19 Dick Trickle gets to go all the way around the racetrack and make up 1.5 miles on the leader of the race.
So he's trying desperately to stay in the lead lap right now, but Earnhardt looks to the inside as they go down the front straightaway here and down to the outside. And Bobby Hamilton is also about to lose a lap. He's running 14th.
So Dick Trickle just passed him to take over the 14th spot, puts Hamilton back to 15th, and now Bobby is a lap down.
Let's check in on some of our onboard cameras that are being carried here this afternoon. The 88 car of Dale Jarrett is a lap down. He's running in 24th position at the moment. Michael Waltrip in the 21 car is on the lead lap. He is in 12th position.
He's following Ricky Rudd. That's 11th spot. Kyle Petty is in 21st spot. He's 1 lap down.
Key car run off pace there.
Let's watch as he goes in the corner, turns. If we could keep this shot, we could see how much he relaxes down the road. He comes off the corner now.
But look how long he's in the corner.
Okay, now he's about 1001, 1002, 1003. 3 seconds he was on the straightaway before he started turning to go in the next corner. And it takes 30 seconds to get around this racetrack. So you can see only 6 seconds can the driver relax.
Grayson Stratton in-car camera.
See him as he turns in the corner. Just how long did he go through the corner? This will he'd be exiting off turn 4. We'll try this again. He comes off the corner, straightens up. 1001, 1002, 1003. See?
Yep.
3 seconds.
Very physically demanding racetrack here at Atlanta. Let's check on the leaders. It's still Dale Earnhardt, but Rusty Wallace is right on his back bumper. And the amazing thing here is that Dick Trickle still will not fall a lap down.
Boy, he's racing these guys hard. Here goes Earnhardt on the inside.
I may have spoken too soon. Well, look at Dick.
He comes back on the outside. Now, and Rusty, he'll try to dive down the inside and get the lead. This is basically how he lost the lead a moment ago, so he's going to try to repay the favor. Here goes Earnhardt again.
No, they touched.
Earnhardt had to jump off the gas to keep him spinning. Wow. And here comes Jeff Gordon to go for the lead.
Out of nowhere. The third-place car passes both of them and takes the lead. Jeff Gordon now in front of the Purolator 500. Where did he come from?
I don't know. Man, he had been gaining on the leaders. I noticed a moment ago, but we started watching this race and watching the in-car camera with Kyle Petty, and I didn't realize just how quickly he had caught the leaders.
Well, I thought when Earnhardt backed out because of his brush there with Trickle that Wallace would pass him, but that was not the case. Instead, Jeff Gordon just came out of nowhere and passed both of them.
I think it scared Rusty as bad as it did Earnhardt. He jumped off the gas as well. But meanwhile, Jeff Gordon was far enough back that he was gassing it and caught the two.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Earnhardt, when he got in to Dick Trickle, Rusty saw that and said, I better get out of this thing too. Look at it again. Here comes Earnhardt, definitely on the charge on Trickle, trying to get around him because he's got Rusty right there. And when he comes up, bang! Now that got Earnhardt's attention. He jumped out of it. Rusty's sitting right on his tail. He jumps out of it. And Jeff Gordon says, that's a real good opportunity for me. I believe I'll take it.
And Jeff Gordon, I tell you what a job that he and Ray Abraham have done today, because talking to Ray and Jeff this morning, their car, they said, was junk. Doing pretty good.
Jerry Punch has more.
Benny, you're exactly right. As you watch Gordon now just freezing down on the bottom of the racetrack. Ray Evernham said yesterday afternoon in the final practice session, our car was awful. Here's what they changed this morning, Benny. The steering box, all 4 shocks, all 4 springs, front end geometry, rear end geometry, roll thinner, Ackerman, and for good measure, they changed the tailpipe. He said, Ray Evernham said we're either going to be very, very good or just plumb awful.
They're pretty darn good, yeah. It's the first time that Jeff Gordon has led in this race. Last year, he led 250 of the 328 laps. It's Earnhardt, Wallace, Labonte, and Martin, 1 through 5. We'll be right back.
At Chevrolet, we're not just out here winning. We're testing suspensions, developing more powerful engines, and learning more about aerodynamics. Because if you want to bring more race-winning technology to the street than any other car company, sometimes you have to work weekends. That's genuine Chevrolet.
I deserve a ride on a Polaris watercraft. 25 reasons. Number 1, I am a people person. Number 2, very clean ears. My Toe Jam collection. Isn't it beautiful? Women find me attractive. And number 25, children are our future.
Get 2 Life Vests free when you buy before March 31st.
What, is this your idea of excitement? Let me tell you about exciting, okay? Driving around a racetrack at over 200 miles an hour, that's exciting. These are just flakes.
Well, what do you think?
These are really good. They're crispy, too.
Really?
Yeah, they're mighty good even with nothing on them. What are they?
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah. Kellogg's Corn Flakes? How could I be so dumb?
You got 500 miles to think about it.
Kellogg's is proud to sponsor NASCAR champion Terry Labonte.
A lot of engines perform on race day at the Indianapolis 500. And no matter what machine they're powering, they're expected to put it all on the line all day long. And when it's a Briggs & Stratton engine, well into the night, make sure your power equipment is powered by Briggs & Stratton.
All remains the same at the Purolator 500. Jeff Gordon is out front. You saw him take the lead. Don't forget, some of us leave these chilly 40-degree temperatures and head off for Rio de Janeiro. The Indy Cars next Sunday here on ABC Sports from Brazil. First time ever, and a brand new oval for IndyCar.
Rub it in. Now, some of us got to go to Syracuse, New York.
You do that every year to us. You come here and you're on your way to Rio and or Australia or some exotic place like that.
And I can find no problem with it whatsoever.
We can. We should be looking for pit stops here very soon. Meanwhile, Bill Weber is with Steve Grissom.
19th in the Winston Cup points race, but you're out today. Broken valve spring.
Yeah, unfortunately something happened to the motor on the Cartoon Network Wacky Racing Team. It's an unfortunate break for us, but man, I tell you what, Hendricks Motorsports have been doing their motors now going on 3 years, and I tell you, you can count on one hand the amount of trouble we've had out of them. So, I mean, they're basically bulletproof, and just unfortunately today wasn't our day.
Okay, so Steve Grissom takes the Cartoon Network and Fred Flintstone car back to Bedrock.
There's the average speed of the race so far, 151 laps, 172, and here is Bobby Hamilton on pit road. This could be the first of another round of pit stops, Busy.
Good start, and Jack Arute is with Bobby Hamilton's pit.
And Bob Jenkins is absolutely correct. Jeff Bodine preceded Bobby Hamilton by 2 laps. He made some adjustments in the right rear and also in the right side of the track bar. It doesn't look, we're waiting to see if any adjustments are made on Bobby Hamilton's car besides the tires. It seems like every day now, even in the green flag conditions, guys, because you can change 4 tires so quickly that you want to make a 4-tire change, both right and left. They've taken on the fuel, they're pushing the top. He's off and away in 22.4 seconds.
That's not a bad pit stop. Last year, if you watch this race on ABC, they make the pit stop at 17, 18 seconds. Since then, NASCAR has taken away a third air wrench that they use to take the lug nuts and change tires on the left side. Now they have to go change they can only use 2 impact wrenches, bring the same guns they use on the right side back around to the left side, and the stops have slowed down 3 or 4 seconds.
The 98 and the 28 battling for 6th position. Jeremy Mayfield and Ernie Irvin. And Ernie is closing in quickly on Mayfield, headed to the high side of the racetrack. Let's see if he makes a bid for the 6th spot coming off the quarter. And just for your information, Johnny Benson's car is rolling back onto the speedway.
For a moment there, we got a glimpse of Terry Labonte's 5 car. He's working his way back up in 4th place now. Bonnie, you'll recall, had a bad pit stop earlier and dropped back several positions, but now is back up to 4th spot as we continue to watch Ernie.
Inside.
Ernie Mayfield spotter, and Ernie takes over 6th spot.
Keep running him hard. Run him hard.
Deal about race car driving today and just how tough it is and how great that these race car drivers in Winston Cup are. A few of these, let's see.
About a half a group up,
Leaders, meanwhile, move into heavy traffic. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt passing Rick Mast in car number 1. Up ahead, Mike Wallace and Dick Trickle. And Trickle is still on the lead lap, Eddie, in 14.
He's still there. He's trying to stay in front of the leaders. How many laps is this now? 20 or 30 laps? He stayed right there in front of the leaders. First Earnhardt, and was first Rusty Wallace, then Earnhardt, and now Jeff Gordon. None of the 3 have been able to get by this health source car.
We look back on the leader, Jeff Gordon, and he is one of 2 in the top 3 that made their very first NASCAR Winston Cup start here at Atlanta. Rusty Wallace made his first start in this race in 1980, and Jeff Gordon made his first start at Atlanta in 1992. There is Terry Labonte, and just like Paul said a few moments ago, he is charging forward, coming up on Rusty Wallace.
He's caught Rusty Wallace, and for the 4th time this year, Terry Labonte, one of the fastest cars in the field. Gary DeHart, the entire Hendrick crew doing a great job on Terry Labonte's Kellogg's car in 1996.
Terry Labonte has again, so far, led the most laps here in this race. 73 of the first 158. We have had a total of 8 leaders and 16 lead changes. Dave Marcus, we understand, has taken his car behind the wall.
And we saw Dave Marcus slow on the apron a moment ago as we watched Terry Labonte catch Rusty Wallace, and I guess it's done for the day. We'll see Hutch Strickland had a good run going on earlier in the 8 car, the Circuit City car. He's slow as Rusty Wallace goes by on the outside.
And there is the interval from that group up front. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt setting the pace here in the Purolator 500. The 6th car of Mark Martin relinquishes 5th position to come in for his scheduled pit stop on lap 160. 55 miles an hour down to Jackaroo.
For Mark Martin, it's simply hit the marks, come down, maintain the speed limit. He does. Steve Beal and the crew go to work. Now, one of the most important parts of this pit stop will be clearing off the debris off the front end of the car. There's a limited airspace there. You have to make sure that it's totally clean because of the cold weather. It's also, they've had to take part of it off. In the meantime, Sterling Harlan has come in, and Harlan is not as big as Mark Martin.
Here comes Sterling Marlin. And finished his pit stop.
Kenny Wallace was going back to the garage area, Benny, and Sterling had a rather close call there with him as Sterling came down pit road to rejoin the race. Wally Dallenbach has made a pit stop and goes back out there. Wally is back in 26th position as Sterling Marlin gathers up speed once again.
Dale Earnhardt has not been able to catch Jeff Gordon since Gordon moved past him about 10 laps ago. But meanwhile, Jeff Gordon has not been able to catch Dick Trickle either.
These two guys battled out for the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship in 1995. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt in their first and second here at Atlanta in the fourth race of the 1996 season.
Yellow flag.
Our first of the day.
Now Musgrave started down pit road and drove back on the racetrack. There's a piece of debris on the racetrack. So Dick Trickle will find the persistence has paid off. He will get that lap back.
That is amazing. Yeah, Ted Musgrave was thinking about coming in, but he saw the caution come out and he pulled back onto the racetrack. And there is Dick Trickle, and with the pace car picking up the leader, as Benny told you a while ago, Dick is going to be able to go clear around the 1.5 miles.
Caution right at the halfway point. They're sitting about 20 miles an hour above the race record. We're going to have to get out the record books and take a look at some of the fastest races. This could be one of them.
It has been a very quick first 164 laps.
And on lap 160, Mark Martin, Sterling Marlin, Kenny Wallace, and Wally Dollenbach. We established all those, made pit stops, and now 3 laps later, the caution flag comes out. Top break.
Yep. So with the pace car out there, we're going to see a lot of activity on pit road under this caution. Dale Earnhardt is already on the apron of the track now. There you can see Jeff Gordon moves his Chevy down onto the apron, the flat part of the racetrack.
Only 13 cars will be able to pit this time. And under NASCAR rules, you have to be on the lead lap to pit the first time by. The next time by, the cars that are 1 lap and more down will pit. There's all the cars that are racing for the win on the lead lap.
It's a great view that was. Ernie Irvan flanks off. He arrives in his pit. Jeff Gordon is going to come clear down to the last pit, and Jerry Punch is standing by in that area.
Triple split, 24, 3 and 2. 2 Chevrolets and a Ford. If you watch him pit, Gordon just getting into his pit. Right side tire work going on his car. Let's check in there with Jack LaRue.
That's indeed what's going on, and he has already completed the right side's going to the left side, Jerry.
Left side tire is going on to Goodrich Chevrolet. They made a tire adjustment, as Rusty is also out. 19.6 for Earnhardt, 20.9 for Rusty Wallace, and Gordon finally out in a little over 22 seconds.
Jeff is still on pit road, almost a 30-second pit stop for Jeff Gordon, and that cost him in terms of track position. And Jack, what's going on?
Well, the problem, guys, was on the left rear. When the air gun came around to the left side, they had a problem getting the lugs back on the left rear tire. It took approximately 9 seconds longer than normal. In that 9 seconds, here's what happened. Dale Earnhardt went by. The rest of the guys went by. Terry Labonte went by. Next thing you know, your leader finds himself mired in the back of the pack.
How interesting is that? Richmond pit stops work on his behalf, and here that long stop and getting out late drops him down 3 positions.
Several positions, as a matter of fact. He's probably lost 7 or 8 spots. The fact that all these cars were jammed up nose to nose when they came in, and we see John Andretti out of gasoline. 8th spot. Jeff Gordon will be 8th on the restart.
And John Andretti was in 31st spot as his woes continues. He's out of gas. Back in just a moment.
It's 400 miles of rocky, rutted trails with enough bumps and jumps to shake a truck to pieces. But if you think an endurance race through the Arizona desert is a real torture test for a truck, just imagine what it can do to a battery. That's why Parker 400 winners Dan Smith and Dave Ashley chose a battery they could depend on to go the distance. The Duralast battery. The same Duralast you can depend on for your car, because it's the one we stock at AutoZone. The Duralast battery. Power you can depend on.
A car engine has as little as 1/1000th of an inch of motor oil protecting its parts. But friction and heat can make motor oil become volatile and vaporize, weakening its ability to protect vital parts. Texaco Havoline Formula 3 is formulated to control volatility, fight vaporization, and provide complete engine protection, no matter what you drive.
Add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
Maybe it's because their frames are welded instead of bolted.
Over here.
or because their decks are stamped from a single piece of steel. Or maybe it's the fact that they have the highest resale value in the industry.
Oh, hey, I always wanted one of these. Thanks.
But the truth is, when people are asked what kind of lawn tractor they'd like as a gift,
Happy birthday, Dad.
most say the same thing.
Saturday, ABC Sports is live from Las Vegas with a big day of bowling and boxing. Sound exciting? You can bet on it. First, bowling's high rollers try to strike it rich as the Pro Bowlers Tour rolls on. Then, Wide World goes ringside. Bernard Hopkins puts his IBF World Middleweight title on the line against undefeated #1 challenger Joe Lipsy Jr. live. And an interview with Iron Mike Tyson on his upcoming title fight. Plus the Florida Derby presented by Visa. Bowling and boxing is a winning combination Saturday on ABC.
We're back at Atlanta under caution, and the caution came right at the halfway point and kind of split the third round of pit stops, and that was costly for some people. Now, the reason for the caution was a spoiler that just suddenly in turn 4 came flying off one of the cars.
It's off the 8 car of Hut Strickland, and watch as it just bounds down the racetrack. And someone from NASCAR was very eagle-eyed to spot that. And Jeff Bodine just misses that spoiler. That could have gone through his grill. Jerry Punch?
And Benny, the team, the Circuit City team, was prepared. They have an extra spoiler here in the pits, but the problem is those spoilers have to be really bolted in place, and they're sort of temporarily trying to pop rivet it in and just hope that it will stay. You know, NASCAR makes them put bolts through it now so the spoiler cannot bend, but trying not to lose as last as they can. Felipe Lopez, the crew chief here on the car, you see him working on the right side of the spoiler, trying to put pop rivets. They're having to drill a hole now in the bottom of the one that's on there. They have 2 pop rivets in, and they're saying, go, 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 go. Here comes the pace car. We don't want to lose the lap.
That's pretty good strategy on those guys. They all jam around to where the NASCAR inspector can't see what they're doing.
Why pop rivets rather than bolts? You'd think it'd take a little longer to have to drill and pop rivet.
No, well, that bolts does sound like a good idea. But there we see Jeff Gordon. The pit stop was 50.9. Earnhardt was 42.7. And with all the cars on the caution flag coming in nose to tail, he goes from leading the race back to 8th position.
And Earnhardt is the leader. And again, those numbers there, the 42.7 and the 50.9, indicate the entrance to the pit area and the exit to the pit area, not just while they were stopped.
Still under caution here tomorrow night on ABC. It's a night of all-new high-impact drama. First at 8, 7 Central Time. Second, Noah, followed by the critically acclaimed new series High Incident, and then Murder One. That's all tomorrow night here on ABC.
Jeff Gordon was the leader at the halfway mark and earns $10,000. Jack?
Bob, let's go back through and tell you what happened during that pit stop. We tried to cover it, told you about the problem with getting the rear tire on. Well, the culprit was the jack and the jack man. The jack fell down too soon. They had to jack the car back up. Now, how much does a jack like this cost? Anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. But what did Ray Evernham say? Pay attention. Next time, guys, pay attention. Tried to calm the crew down. Tried to calm Gordon down, too. Green flag is up. We're back to good-size racing.
On lap 170, the green comes out to resume our competition. The record for fewest number of cautions, 2, and that has happened 3 times. We had 2 cautions in last fall's race here in Atlanta. So far, we've only had 1 in this race.
And Wallace on the inside of Terry Labonte trying to take over the second spot. Here they are, front straightaway, side by side. And Martin swings down and is being overtaken. Does Mark have a problem?
Well, he's losing some spots here. He is a lap down and maybe losing other positions.
I guess that is the problem. Mike Wallace, meanwhile, got his car loose coming off the second corner. And where did Robert Presley come from? Look at Robert go. He's a lap down because of pit stops, but trying his best to get back to the front.
Jeremy Mayfield is in 98 and he's 4th. Terry Labonte at car 5 is in 3rd spot. Up ahead, Rusty Wallace in 2nd, the leader Dale Earnhardt. Mayfield a little loose coming off the corner there. Bill Elliott while we watch the action on the racetrack, we can inform you that
Keep her down now. Keep it down. Let's go.
Dave Marcus has come back into the race.
And Ernie Irvin goes by Elliott, taking over the 6th spot from Bill Elliott. Meanwhile, Mark Martin, as you said, a lap down in the Valvoline 40. Made a pit stop earlier, and the caution came out and caught him.
Terry Labonte had a bad pit stop a while ago, and he lost several positions, moved up through the field. Now we're going to be watching the same from Jeff Gordon, who has come back up to 8th spot. There he is.
Jimmy Spencer, the 23 car, started 39th today and is currently running in 7th spot. So give a call to Jimmy Spencer.
And Jack Arute, what about Mark Martin?
No problems with Mark Martin. Just the situation is he's still smarting from the fact that he had to come on, take fuel, and ended up a lap down. How often have we seen that? We've seen it actually dictate winners of events in the past. I remember Bill Elliott winning because he stayed out longer than everybody else, had advantage of the caution. So what he did when the leaders came out, he backed out of it to let them go clean racing. He says, I'm a lap down. I'm going to stay out of it for a little while.
As a matter of fact, how often do you see that? We saw it yesterday afternoon in the Busch Grand National race. Mark Martin made a pit stop, and the caution flag came out 3 or 4 laps later, and he had the fastest car there, did not win. Finished, I think, 7th.
Mostly mostly Fords, I should say, in the top 10. Only 3 Chevys represented, but they're running 1st and 2nd.
1st and 3rd.
1st and 3rd, right.
With Rusty Wallace right now between. Never seen Dick Trickle. He stayed on the lead lap. He's now his 10th spot.
Yeah, he's in the top 10. Kyle Petty is right behind him. Kyle Petty is a lap down in 16th. Briggs and Stratton roof cam on Kyle Petty's car. Now looking back on Kyle from Dick Trickle.
Well, we'll go back to the leaders and see how, here we see Terry Labonte has caught Rusty Wallace. Tried to look on the inside, couldn't make a move. Now he tries it on the outside.
Sterling Marlin is between this duo and the leader, Dale Earnhardt. And Rusty just slows suddenly, Benny.
Yes, he does. Rusty Wallace is off the pace.
Rusty led 36 laps going into this race. He had only led 26 in the first 3 races of the year, and now the Miller Ford looks like down to the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see if we can see any notice of smoke. There it is, yes. Right just as after he crossed the starting line.
Saw the puff of smoke, and that's generally a bad sign. Jerry Punch.
Well, the answer is very simple. I asked the crew chief, Robin Pemberton, he gave me 2 words. Blew up and walked away.
That just about says it all. And Rusty Wallace
still running.
Yeah. Now the car, as you hear in the background, the car is still running, but it's obviously missing and not running very smoothly. And now the crew raised the hood. That's Robin Pemberton on the left front, looking at the front. Maybe it's something they can fix. If Pemberton runs back to the toolbox, is looking for some attachment to the plug wire, so maybe it's not quite as terminal as they might have thought for Rusty Wallace. Could be possibly an ignition problem. As the crew surveys the damage, we'll try to find out what the problem exactly is and get back to you.
So one of the contenders has fallen by the wayside here. Now the engine is shut off, and they're looking for the source of the problem. And Rusty Wallace can only sit hopelessly on the racetrack as Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte, and the others are at full speed on the racetrack.
You see Terry Labonte, the 5 car, has been able to get by Sterling Marlin. And he moves back up behind Dale Earnhardt. And look who is in 4th spot and could have one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. The Havoline Texaco Ford, Ernie Irvin.
His best finish so far this year was 14th at Rockingham. He got off to a great start with a win in a 21-25 qualifying race at Daytona, but then things went kind of sour. 14th at Rockingham, his best finish in the first 3 races. And now Bernie Irvin finds himself up in 4th spot.
And he's closing down on Jeremy Mayfield. By the way, Donnie Benson has finally decided It's just been a really tough day, and I'm going to park the thing. So out in front is Dale Earnhardt, followed by Terry Labonte. 181 laps complete. We are still running at a record. We'll be back after these messages and a word from our ABC station.
In Murray, Utah, a lot of folks like to work on their cars themselves, and they come to AutoZone because they know they'll find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and helpful people like Rick Perry. Now, Rick's been around cars all his life, so he knows a thing or two about looking up parts and solving problems. And whether it's selling new parts or testing old ones, he's always glad to help. You see, when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
I got Prime Star because I love news and sitcoms and dramas and sports. I always wanted to play football. Maybe not. Okay, so I admit I loved TV. And with Prime Star's 95 channels, I get it all in digital, picture, and sound. You want to know the best part? You don't have to buy the dish. Prime Star is a service. There's no equipment to buy. And it all starts at about $1 a day. Enjoy.
Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR.
Tuesday, Tim sends Brad back to the barber.
What are you talking about? Last time he took off almost 1/4 of an inch.
Well, Renee, you got more hair on my nose than that. Will Brad's new look make Tim wig out?
A little bit with that haircut. Next thing he wants is earrings. Earrings turn to tattoos. Tattoos turn to crime. Crime turns to jail and another bad haircut.
Home improvement. Then Dana Carvey does what he's born to do.
My time slot's so good I can put on a half hour of anything.
He makes us laugh.
Thanks, Tim Allen.
The Taco Bell Dana Carvey Show. All new Tuesday.
Get ready, baby. Here at Dick's Picks to win it all during Mercury Madness. The all-new, all-star, all-world Mercury Sable. Now with awesome financing or big cash back. Mercury Villager. This team busts a lot with this mega bonus. Mercury Grand Marquis. You're going to love this car all the way to the bank. Mercury Sable, Villager, and Grand Marquis. With this three-point play, you can't miss.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Imagine that, baby.
No matter what kind of car you have, at Western Auto, we have all the parts you could ever need. Like starters, and clutches, and shocks, and even engines. And all for guaranteed low prices. Oh, and don't forget, brakes. Western Auto. Serious parts, serious savings.
NYPD Blue, only on 28 Tampa Bay.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Purolator 500, the 7th car of Jeff Bodine is off the pace, and the 19 of Dick Trickle is also slowing. So a couple of interesting things going on here. More from Bill Weber.
And Dick Trickle probably done for the day, leaking water, slowing on the backstretch, creeping toward pit road. Had a good run, 7 car also on pit road, but Trickle's day probably is over. Darrell Waltrip going back out, and Rusty Wallace being pushed back to the garage.
And while we were in commercial break, Bill Elliott also came in for an unscheduled pit stop. Jerry, what was that all about?
Bob, see this bag right here I have on my hand, like someone's lunch came in this bag, probably Benny's, who knows. But there was this plastic bag that was on the grill of the car number 94, and the car began to overheat. And that's why Elliott had to pit, the car overheating. And by the way, just a moment ago, they pushed Rusty Wallace back to the garage. They have broken a piston, so he is through for the day. Let's go down to Jackaroot in the Bodine pit.
And Jerry, if Jeff Bodine had any luck, it'd be bad luck, because now, after all those chassis problems, he reports a flat tire. To be safe, the crew elected to change all 4. They'll take them behind the wall, and they'll determine which one went flat. That's part of the problem with the interliners. Sometimes, Benny Parsons, you know, it's difficult to tell from a sight standpoint which tire is going flat.
As a matter of fact, Jack could ask me, I could have told him I saw the right rear tire was flat as he came down Smith Road just a moment ago. Talking about a burned piston on Rusty Wallace's car, there is what we're talking about. That's a good piston on the left. See how nice and shiny the aluminum is? They melt, they get so hot they actually melt the aluminum, and that's what they mean by a burned piston.
Dick Trickle has gone back out onto the racetrack, so perhaps it isn't a terminal situation for him, but he has lost 2 laps. And Bill Weber is with Rusty Wallace.
Well, Rusty Wallace hoping to make a move in the points here. You got through Daytona, but not Atlanta.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. The car was really flying. It was running good. We had a couple cylinders last night. We were looking pretty close as far as being too hot, and evidently we just got too close and burned the thing up. So looks like they're going to confiscate it now and take it to the wind tunnel. So we won't see what happened to it for a week or so. But it's too bad. I think it was really running good.
Some vintage racing between you and the guy in that 3 car.
Yeah, I finally got my act back together, but man, we can't be falling on these races. I'm going to have to go back to the guys in the engine shop, and we'll talk about it, see what we can do to get the durability back. But they're working hard. At least got the cars handling. We're back in championship form, but DNFs don't help none.
Okay, so Rusty's out of this race, and it looks like he's going to lose his car to a wind tunnel test that Benny talked about earlier. They want a Ford, a Chevy, and a Pontiac. 24 and the 28 racing door-to-door now, guys.
Yeah, that's for 4th position. They're side by side at the line, and Gordon on the inside is now up to 4th position, and Ernie Irvin back to 5th. The 4 car of Sterling Marlin, 2 laps down in 18th.
Because of an ill-timed pit stop. There exactly what we saw on the Bill Elliott car a moment ago. Piece of baggie that Jerry Punch had caught on the grill of the car. He had to make a pit stop and pull it off. Meanwhile, Jeff Bodine pitted just a moment ago. Jack Caroot has more on the story.
And Benny, that's one of the great things when you're high above the grandstands here where your vantage point is. You could see this right rear tire was indeed flat. When those of us that cover the action, including the pit crews, they're on the other side. All you can see coming down pit road on that side are the left side tires. So you've got to make a judgment call. Paul Andrews for Jeff Bodine's team made a call, change all 4, which is really smart. You've already had to come off the base, but look what happens to a tire when it begins to go flat at over 180 miles an hour.
Ernie Irvin still hanging on to the 5th position. Just ahead is Jeff Gordon. And here, meanwhile, is 1st and 2nd, Earnhardt and Terry Labonte.
As we keep an eye on this fight for the lead, we'll also take a look at the Busch race recap. The leader, of course, now is Earnhardt, led 50 of the 193 with 17 lead changes. Only 1 caution. Average speed is well above the record. The lap leaders, Terry Labonte for 73, then Earnhardt, Wallace for 36, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte for 4, Mike Wallace, then Elliott, and Michael Walton. Out of race thus far. Blake Speed was the first out. You saw Steve Grissom go. Johnny Benson in and out. Finally decides to take her out completely. Now we're on our 4th round of green flag with only 1 caution. What do you expect?
Well, right now we're going to find out just who has what, and it still looks like that Terry Labonte has a car as fast as anyone. He's unable to get by Earnhardt right now, but he seems to be getting closer to him. The guy who's probably the benefited more because of the caution flag was Jeremy Mayfield. He's been adjusted slightly on the car. He had time to take things, slow down, figure out what's going on. A young driver, they made some changes, and here he is in 3rd spot. He's not losing a lot of ground to Dale Earnhardt.
Mayfield's been very consistent throughout the run.
There you see Jeremy Mayfield, the RC car, down in turn 1.
It's only his 3rd race here. His best finish came in November of last year. He finished 18th. We always monitor the radios of these drivers as we follow them, at least some of them, and you'll notice that when he's not running in traffic, there's not much conversation between the spotter and the driver.
Benny, when the spotter jumps in there, a couple of times it's actually made me jump. Are there drivers that just don't want that kind of chatter?
Some drivers do not want that. They say, I'll figure out who's beside. I mean, Kenny Schrader once said, don't tell me if I'm clear or not. I'll make up my own mind if I'm clear or not. But some drivers do want that help. Obviously, Jeremy Mayfield one that does.
And more from Jerry Punch.
Well, we know all the drivers have spotters up there on top of the stands, but Jeremy Mayfield has a very experienced spotter right here. Take a look. That is 3-time Winston Cup champion and 7-time winner here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Cale Yarborough, who's also his boss and car owner. Now, ordinarily, Cale sits in that little boat seat that he's been kneeling against. Cale has not sat down since they dropped the green flag, and he really has to stop smiling. He has been trying to lead his young driver lap by lap, watching him completely around the racetrack and telling him high, low, basically giving him a little bit of driving lesson from all those years of experience in the seat himself.
Cale Yarborough watching things from down in the pit area. Up on the roof, there are the spotters that...
There you go, stand up.
See right there, see the fellow with the RCA hat? That's the fellow that was talking to the Jeremy May.
Still out there, hang tough.
Watching him pass Mike Wallace.
Clear.
And as soon as they get by the...
That's the way to do it now. You get a pass them. That's the way to go.
Cheerleading a little bit too.
Little enthusiasm to Jeremy, and he's doing a...
Hey, going high and come off low now.
They're going high. Let's stay up there, Jeremy. Now dive for the bottom of the racetrack. Get down on that yellow line. White line, I guess it is. Excuse me. That's what he's talking about. Going high and come off low. We'll see just how far that Jeremy has to go to catch the leaders, and he is not gaining now. A moment ago, he gained on Earnhardt, but now he isn't. It looks like Labonte is falling back 3 or 4 minutes.
Dale Earnhardt trying to rebound from a 31st place finish at Richmond last week. His worst finish since Michigan 13 races ago. Jeff Gordon up to 4th position, so he too is coming back from that disastrous pit stop that he had a few laps ago. There is Labonte, and he is within a car length now, coming back up on Earnhardt.
That's unbelievable. Just a moment ago, he's 4 car lengths behind. In 1 lap, he closes up all the distance.
So it's Earnhardt and Labonte first and second. Jeremy Mayfield third, followed by Jeff Gordon and Ernie Irvan after 204 of 328 laps at Atlanta.
Sunday, we believe in putting on our best. Maybe that's why no car company has won more races in the history of NASCAR than Chevrolet.
Decisions made in the split of a second, and pain endured for the length of a day. And at the finish, you're either toasting victory or getting set to do it all over again next week. It's auto racing, the way we do it on the Miller team.
A forecast of mostly sunny skies today. Crisp easterly winds. Expect a high near 52 degrees.
If you don't want to be stereotyped, don't be stereotypical. A Suzuki Intruder.
Week after week on the Senior Tour, it's every man for himself. But this time around, the game's best pair up for the Liberty Mutual Legends of Golf, March 23rd on ABC.
Back at the Purolator 500, Atlanta Motor Speedway, you look backwards from Dale Jarrett's car. Came into this race as the points leader, but now runs a lap behind the lead in 13th position. Now, we've got a great race going here at a record pace with Dale Earnhardt out in front of Terry Labonte, but this is not the only racing on ABC today. Immediately after this race, round number 1, of the International Race of Champions, the 20th running of the IROC. We've got some great rookies in there. Robbie Gordon, Johnny Benson, who is out of the run here. And I think you're going to enjoy it. A good fight from Daytona International.
And brand new cars this year.
Yes, sir. Pontiac
Firebirds. Well, identically prepared Pontiac Firebirds, as a matter of fact.
Well, let's take a look and see how Michael Waltrip is doing as he makes his way around this 1.5-mile racetrack in Atlanta. He's running in 9th position. There are 10 cars on the lead lap, and look at this. Jeff Gordon takes 3rd away from Jeremy Mayfield and does it.
All right, follow him now. Stay with him.
Rather easily.
That's okay, Jeremy. I just want you to know where you made your mistake at right there now. You got to go when you make that commitment. Got to go. You're doing good, though. Just keep doing it.
That's Tony Porter, the crew chief, talking to his young driver, Jeremy Mayfield. Boy, they really seem to have a nice relationship, does Tony and Jeremy.
The 21 and the 41 are side by side for 8th spot, and the 10th is in the 10 car is up there also. So that's 8th, 9th, and 10th right there.
And 7th.
Yes.
Let's give Kenny Schrader a call. Then the red 25 car. Bud car.
All 4 of these cars going for position. By the way, there are 10 cars on the lead lap. Bill Elliott is in 11th, 1 lap down.
Let's watch Michael Waltrip as he goes down in the corner. We can see just how long this half-mile corner is here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Pulling the car to the left, pulling to the left. If he ever goes back suddenly to the right, he's got a big problem. And once again, you realize, and look at that sun as they drive into the sun late in the afternoon at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
The races here at Atlanta are in March and in November, and it's a problem with the sun in both races when they come here. There is Kyle Petty as we watch him traverse the racetrack. He's 14th a lap down. Sun is always low in the sky by the time.
We're going to drop you 1 and 1 on your air, okay, and some tape on the front. Now running slow on the bottom.
I think this is Brett Bodine, the Lowe's Home Improvement Center car, is Ford. We see he's turning 7,500 RPMs. We see his tachometer there. All the drivers, with the exception of Earnhardt, have the full face helmet. I think Jimmy Spencer also wears it. And Trickle does not wear this. There we see Trickle, his little bubble goggles. Yep.
Sterling Marlin is in. Here's Bill Weber.
Well, they're going to make a big chassis adjustment here, put on 4 Goodyear tires, add the fuel, and send Sterling out. Lap 215, they've really struggled since he ran out of gas. He was out of gas when he came in for the first pit stop. Then, of course, for the second pit stop, ran out just after he had an opportunity to pit. So they've got the tires on, waiting on the left rear. The fuel schooling goes back out. Green flag stop on lap 215.
Ricky Rudd and Ricky Craven are battling for 8th. Craven takes the spot in 41.
Well, I tell you, the last lap, Michael Waltrip and Ricky Rudd, and Kenny Schrader and Ricky Craven off turn 2. It was a mess. You'll see Kyle Petty, the 42 car, the Coors Light car. He is not in that racing 4 position. He's 1 lap down to these cars. Here we go, Wilson. Here we go, down in turn 1. There's Ricky Rudd, the 10, and Michael Waltrip, and we see them 3 abreast behind. Rudd and Michael go up, make contact, and there goes Schrader on the inside, and we saw results of that. Also, Ricky Craven was able to get by the 41 car.
This is Michael Waltrip, Bruce Can.
Michael doesn't. Please stay away from that wall, Michael.
It doesn't give. The 8 car of Hut Strickland is in for a pit stop.
So I'm making a chassis adjustment on the right rear.
And again, there's a lot of debris on the grill of the car. It's very windy here today, and the sandwich wrappers are blowing around. And here comes first and second in tandem down pit road. Earnhardt leading Terry Labonte. And another round of green flag pit stops on the 218th circuit. Here's Jerry Punch in Earnhardt's pit.
scheduled pit stop for Dale Earnhardt. They will change all 4 tires, clean the windshield. They will make no adjustments whatsoever on the Earnhardt car. How about it, Jack? We're down to Romani, Jeff.
Well, it looks like possibly, Jerry, they are going to make a change, but here's what they're going to do. They're going to try and stop up the front end of the car a little bit. No, it's just a patch, Jerry. A patch on the right front.
Earnhardt had been complaining the car was very tight, but they had lowered the air pressure in the left rear tire, and they had fixed the problem. Back to you, Jack.
Jerry, they've completed their work on Terry Labonte in the side-by-side battle with Earnhardt back out onto the racetrack.
Earnhardt wins the battle off pit road. Jeff Gordon has been in and out. There he goes.
Jimmy Spencer completed his pit stop. He's leaving pit road.
By the way, Spencer relinquished 4th place to come in. Ken Schrader is also in. Kyle Petty making a stop. And a lot of work on pit road. And now Jeremy Mayfield and Mark Martin bring their Fords down pit road. Jeremy had taken the lead there briefly, running in 4th spot, while the 3 in front of him pitted. Here's Jerry again.
26-year-old Owensboro, Kentucky driver Jeremy Mayfield, very talented young driver running the car owned by Cale Yarborough.
Don't forget to hold your brakes right when you put it in gear.
That's the crew chief talking to the crew, telling them not to forget. Cleaning the windshield. You watch the Mayfield. Let's check into the King's pit with Jackaroo.
And Mark Martin, Jerry Bunch put in 1 round of bite in the right side. They twisted it around real quick. They're going to take 4 tires and a full tank of fuel, but other than that, chassis it's normal, Jerry. As Jerry Mayfield goes out, right?
Yeah, he's down and away, left side tire, so a pretty good stop for Cale Yarborough and Tony Furr and the rest of the crew.
Bobby Hamilton coming out. Robert Presley also making his way back out onto the racetrack. The lead is being held by Ernie Irvan, but now he is coming in. Bill Weber will await the stop by Ernie Irvan as Ernie has to climb on the brakes, Bill.
He had to smoke him to get it wound down as he came off pit road. They'll make a chassis adjustment. Ernie Irvan back to the front from 37th to 1st. 5 bonus points off a disappointing week last time out at Richmond. This is 4 tires and plenty of fuel. They slide the jack in, jack the car up. Ernie has finishes of 35th, 14th, and 38th so far this year. 34th in points, but having a wicked run here. And 22 flat, he goes back to the track.
You knew he would turn his season around just like Jeff Gordon did last weekend. It appears that this may be the chance for Ernie to get back on the right track. Out on the racetrack, meanwhile, Labonte and Earnhardt are still right together, and Labonte is in front.
He just passed Earnhardt the last lap going down in turn 1, and I thought that Earnhardt was going to come back on the inside. He's still trying to come back on the inside.
He's still fighting for the spot. They come off of corner number 4, but no, it'll still be Terry Labonte holding off the challenge of Dale Earnhardt. 21 car, by the way, and Michael Waldrop has not made a pit stop, so he is in the lead at the moment. But when everybody does come in for a pit stop, it'll be these 2 up front. And now we can see that Michael is indeed off the track and onto pit road. So that battle we were watching there between the 5 and the 3, Labonte and Earnhardt are running 1st and 2nd.
Right front off, pick up the gun, fasten the lug nuts. One jack and 2 air wrenches. That has slowed down the proceeding. They've been using 2 jacks, 1 jack for a long, long. Uh-oh! Stall this thing! But he gets it started quickly again.
In the 88 of Dale Jarrett.
He had a very slow stop because we saw he was sitting in his pit when Michael Walker made his pit stop. The 88 car was sitting there, so obviously a long, long stop for Dale Jarrett.
Gotta stay below that white line.
As soon as you get to the back stretch, there you can pull up. Here comes Ted Musgrave on the outside of Michael Walker. Will he catch the 88 car of Dale Jarrett? Just barely.
Jarrett is 13th, a lap down.
As a matter of fact, the leaders are right behind these cars.
Elliott is the leader of the race because, remember, he's off sequence. He's not pitted with the rest of those running up front.
He stopped early and
right.
he didn't change tires or anything, just pulled the baggie off the grill.
Right.
He stopped fairly soon.
Yeah, he's been stretching it further than anybody else, but then had to make the unscheduled stop to get the piece of debris off the grill of the car. So Elliott is your leader at the moment, but Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt are running in second and third position. 228 laps have been completed. We're only 100 from the end of this Purolator 500. Back in just a moment.
Help! They're in your town. Help! They're your neighbors. Help! They're your family. Help! They were once just like you. But now they need to fix their out-of-warranty electronics. And they're desperate. Well, they've come to the right place. Help! Radio Shack. You've got questions. We've got answers.
When it comes to roping a steer, folks in Grand Junction, Colorado will tell you that Ron Markin can ride with the best of them. And when it comes to overhauling an engine or rebuilding a carburetor, well, he can do it all. You see, when Ron's not riding a horse for fun, he's turning a wrench for a living. So he buys a lot of parts, mostly from AutoZone. Sure, there are other parts stores in town, but Ron knows that when you want the right part for the right price, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
How does Shaquille O'Neal get fired up for a game? With the scorching new 4-alarm double-decker taco from Taco Bell. It's the hottest new way to bring soft and crunchy together in one big fiery taste. The new 4-alarm double-decker taco, only at Taco Bell.
Is it hot in here, or is it just me?
When the Hendrick team switched to Quaker State this year, I was talking with my crew chief about it, and he said they ran through all these tests. The dyno, camshaft test, and all these others, right? And the stuff beats all their standards. So I said, but don't forget, we won 8 races with last year's oil. And he said, yeah, but don't you forget, we also lost 24. Tough crowd. Dang, guys, come on.
Quaker State exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
Back at Atlanta, and Dale Earnhardt has taken the lead away from Terry Labonte. So Earnhardt goes back to the front once again.
Terry Labonte caught Michael Waltrip and put him a lap down going in turn 3, but to do it he had to get off the gas just a little bit to avoid hitting Michael. That's all that Earnhardt needed. He jumped to the inside and passed Terry Labonte down the front stretch and now has the lead. Labonte trying to chase down Earnhardt.
We'll take a look at what happened. There you see Michael Waltrip up high.
I should have just waited, shouldn't I? And showed you the pictures. And that's exactly how it happened.
So Dale Earnhardt now has led 75 laps of this race, and Terry Labonte has led 73. So these two guys are battling for supremacy in terms of number of laps led. And remember, the driver who leads the most laps will get 5 bonus points.
Take a look at the Napa Field summary now. Earnhardt leads it, but continues that seesaw battle with Terry Labonte. And look down through the remainder of the field.
All those cars in the lead lap to the exception of Michael Waltrip has been lapped. Elliott now lap down. Bobby Hamilton, not as good as he's been running the last couple of races. Dick Trickle had to make that unscheduled stop. Lost 3 laps.
Is being shown out of the race, and the caution flag is coming out for the second time this afternoon. Only the second time, and we understand that another car has lost a spoiler, and it is the same car, Hut Strickland. So the one they apparently put on came off again, right, Jerry?
Well, Bob, it was actually not the side they put on, it was the side it stayed on. They lost the right side the first time, they lost the left side this time. In fact, and this time when they lost the spoiler, it went up on the racetrack at the end of pit road right against the pit wall. NASCAR said it's just too much of a dangerous position for that spoiler to be there. So we're going to possibly put out the caution flag. I guess they did put the caution out, so Hut Strickland still sits in the pit here with the left side spoiler now being replaced.
So it hasn't been too long since they pitted. They're going to again, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. They're going to put those fresh tires on. Rest assured, they're not going to give up any kind of a disadvantage because we still have almost 100 laps to go, 92 laps remaining in the race, so they're not going to give anything away at this point. But from now on, from here on, they can make it on one more stop. And we're probably looking at 2 stops. Ever see Earnhardt head for pit road? And once again, only 7 cars on the lead lap. We'll only see 7 cars on pit road, but all those 7 will be nose to tail.
In the pace car, we see those moving down pit road, and Jerry Punch is waiting on Dale Earnhardt to arrive.
55 miles an hour, 3.5 and 24. Triple Chevrolet pit stop. Earnhardt top. Labonte middle and Gordon bottom. Earnhardt's already in, getting service on the right side of his car. Terry Labonte finally gets to his pits as Gordon finally at the far end. Let's check in with you, Jack.
And the work continues on Terry Labonte's car and Jeff Gordon's car at the far end of the pit road. The entrance there. Now let's update you on how that Band-Aid for Terry Labonte on the right front of the car. Why did he need it? He hit the spoiler, the first spoiler that came off of Terry Labonte. Now it's a drag race out. And who will make it, Benny Parsons? Who's the first of the leaders out?
I don't know. It was really, really close between 3 and 24. We'll see Dale Earnhardt, 18.7. Folks, that is a tremendous pit stop by that Richard Childress crew. 18.7 seconds. It's hard to say. I couldn't tell. The white line at the end of pit road, the car that reaches there first, gets that position. I couldn't tell if it was the 3 or the 24.
Well, we'll back up our tape here and take a look at it in just a moment as the rest of the field goes slowly down the backstretch. There it is. Let's examine it once again.
And not the white line that's directly in front of Jeff Gordon, but the one that's about 10 feet in front of him. Here comes Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon's car is down. He moves. Looks like Earnhardt.
Close, but I think they all did cross the line first.
Yep, we can see that Earnhardt is about 6 inches, gets the position.
All right, well, so Dale Earnhardt will have that spot. You can see now from the pace car how everybody else, those not on the lead lap, have been able to come in, while those who have already come in are catching up to the pace car. And here's Bill Weber.
And Ricky Craven is on pit road. Ricky got a crush panel knocked out earlier in the race. Now Kyle Petty almost pits in the wrong spot, goes around Craven, finds his stall. They wanted a caution flag to put that new crush panel, a makeshift crush panel in. They put on the 4 tires, added the fuel, but did not add the crush panel that time.
Ricky Craven making his way back out onto the racetrack. So are several others, including John Andretti and Ricky Rudd. So we'll be back with resumption of this race, and we'll be back after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
Extreme? Try strapping yourself in a 4,000-pound rocket. Then run at 220. 6 inches away from 41 of your closest friends. Real close. NASCAR. Extreme and always has been. Busch. The official beer of NASCAR and always has been.
Now at Pep Boys, get any 4 all-season 45,000-mile tires for just $139. Any size, any 4 45,000-mile tires in stock for just $139. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
No trendy health club. No $60 shorts. No excuses. Speed Stick's no-nonsense formula gives you 110% protection. Like you, it never quits.
By men.
Nick was a pilot with 3 wives.
You know how much I love you.
In 3 cities.
I'm a little in over my head.
There are 3 of us?
Now, they're getting even. Melrose Place's Jack Wagner stars in a world premiere movie, Frequent Flyer, Sunday on ABC.
Monday. It's an all-new episode the critics are calling excellent. Best new crime series, compelling.
Got 2 days, let's go!
It's about high intensity. High incident. Make your neighborhood watch Monday.
When I buy auto parts, I want to talk to people who really know what they're doing. The parts pros at Discount Auto Parts. I depend on these folks, like Rich here. I know him, he knows me. He gets me the right part at the right price every single time.
Save on Valvoline motor oil, only 98 cents a quart. Save on Haviland, too, just 94 cents a quart for any weight you choose. Limit 12.
You work on your car? Go with the pros you know.
Go with the pros you know. And discount auto parts.
Excuse me? That's better. Excuse me? That's better. Excuse me? Excuse me. There's nothing better than a steak from Winn-Dixie.
2020, only on 28 Tampa Bay.
ABC Sports coverage of the Purolator 500. Brought to you by Firestone, America's tire since 1900. Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. Monroe's Sensatrack shocks and struts, making the road a safer place. And Western Auto and Western Auto Parts America are the official auto parts store of NASCAR.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the green flag has just come out. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt are side by side going through two. The restart came on the 241st lap. And look at Ernie Irvin as he closes in there as well. And there's Terry Labonte, too. 90. Mike Wallace is in trouble.
He's blowing the engine as they go down the backstretch. Meanwhile, Ernie Irvin on the caution flag is out
again. So we just come back from a caution for 2 laps. But look here. They're coming around to the line.
No, they've already taken the caution flag. Meanwhile, Ricky Rudd and Dick Trickle once again gets a lap back. But Dick Trickle was 3 down. Ricky Rudd was only...
He's back on the lead lap.
He's now back on the lead lap.
Yep, got 8 cars on the lead lap.
Oh, but Gordon and Earnhardt really charged on that one. What a great little show that was. Short live.
Ernie Irvin was coming up, and so was Terry Labonte. So we may see the same thing again here in just a moment after the NASCAR and track officials go out there and check over the place to see if there was any oil laid down by Mike Wallace.
Now, these cars only ran the 1 lap, so they will not pit. But if they had run 4 or 5 laps, they would. Now, Ricky Rudd and Dick Trickle that made up their laps, they'll be at the end of the pack. They might stop and just put half gallon of fuel in it because...
Wouldn't cost them anything.
Wouldn't cost them anything. Never see Ricky Rudd. Is he going to stop? Doesn't appear as he does. Is he going to stop?
He has to insert the track as he is doing right now. Well, let's go down to Jack Arute.
You know, I'm always amazed at the technology and how it increases. In IndyCar racing, we talk about onboard telemetry. Here in Winston Cup, we've talked about satellite dishes. Everybody now has a TV monitor down here on pit road. But this is a first. This show is closed caption for the hearing impaired. And what I'm saying is now being typed out here. It's a couple of seconds behind, but I can read what I'm saying. It says this show is closed for the hearing impaired. What I'm saying is being typed out, etc., etc. How about lunch, Benny? That's it. It's coming up.
I can't believe it. Jack has figured out how to get himself twice on the same camera. Unbelievable.
There it is.
Let's do lunch sometime, Jack, shall we? So Ernie Irvin continues his charge to the front. He now is in 2nd spot.
Ricky Craven is coming in to get that panel fixed, and Bill Weber is there.
He might have an even bigger problem now. He's reported a bad vibration, so they're going to change tires, top it off with fuel, and then send him back out. He did not want that crush panel put back in because he wanted to try and get back on the lead lap. He didn't want to lose the track position. Well, the caution came out to try and help him, but didn't work out. Dick Trickle also in on pit road. He'll top off with fuel. Craven is away. He's got 4 tires. We'll check on that vibration, and then perhaps, if he can get his lap back, put that crush panel in. But right now, Larry Hedrick, the car owner, told me that's his driver's call. Craven has complained briefly about it, but they haven't made that repair yet. Now Dick Trickle leaves, and he'll return to the race.
Yeah, he changed all 4 tires, got topped off, and by the way, this is Dick Trickle's 200th NASCAR Winston Cup race. Still under caution because of some oil on the back stretch from Mike Wallace's car. We'll take a break and be
You've got 700 horsepower trucks. You've got Craftsman tools. You've got heart-pounding, bone-rattling, eardrum-busting speed. What else do you need for a perfect Sunday afternoon? The all-new NASCAR Super Truck Series, brought to you by Craftsman. The only tools tough enough for super trucks.
They can make a rough road feel this smooth. They can make the most demanding road feel safer. And right now, Monroe Sensatrack shocks and struts are on sale. Buy 3 and get the 4th one free. That's one safe deal. Buy 3 and get the 4th one free. Only on Monroe Sensatrack, only for a limited time. So go straight to a Monroe Ride Expert Center today or call 1-800-STRUT-NOW.
Take 12 of the world's top drivers, put them in identical cars at Palooza Daytona. It's the first test in the International Race of Champions. Next on ABC Sports.
Just as you rejoin us, the green flag comes back out to begin our Purolator 500 once again after a short caution period. It's Dale Earnhardt up front. Now Ernie Irvin's in second spot, and Jeff Gordon is running third. And now Ernie begins to put some pressure on Dale.
Ernie Irvin is running a little bit higher line around the racetrack than is Dale Earnhardt. And is he going to work for him, or is he going to lose a spot? And here comes Robert Presley trying to get a lap back. He's a lap down, the 33 car.
Presley's a lap down in 9th spot.
Now this time Ernie Irvin runs in the same tracks as Dale Earnhardt. Can he use a draft to get by?
Here comes the Napa field summary. The entire field rundown at the moment. 8 cars on the lead lap.
Contact with Wally Dallenbach on a caution flag, and someone said, well, didn't understand how he could do that. It wasn't the spotter helping him or whatever. Come to find out that the spotter and Larry McReynolds both keyed the mic at exactly the same time, and Ernie heard nothing from either of them.
What are the chances of that happening?
And we see some smoke out of the Bobby Hillin car. Kenny Schrader in the 25, the Budweiser car stopped and topped off on that last stop, so he might try to stretch it and just get a gas and go with just 15 or 20 laps to go.
Bobby Hamilton there in the 43 car is in 20th position. He's 3 laps down. We'll show you the manufacturers of those running in the top 10.
So we've got 5 Fords and 5 Chevrolets.
Yep. I'd say that's pretty evenly divided there. No Pontiac showing up in the top 10. Kyle Petty, I believe, is the best Pontiac in 15th.
You see a Pontiac, the 43 car, the STP car. Trying to go by Ricky Brady. Here's the Kyle Petty car.
Clear.
And we see the smoke coming out of Hillen's car up in front of Kyle Petty. There we see Jeremy Mayfield, 98 car, going by Terry Labonte.
And picking up 4th spot, Benny.
And Terry Labonte's car doesn't seem to be running as fast as it did beforehand, before this last caution flag.
And now Jeremy Mayfield closing in on Jeff Gordon for 3rd spot. A great run this afternoon for Jeremy Mayfield, whose best career finish came at Pocono last July.
There you go. You get it.
That was an 8th place finish. He's going to shatter that today if he can keep up this pace. Jeremy has only had 1 top 10 finish, and that was it last July at Pocono. This is his 50th race.
Boy, low. Did he ever?
More. Let him know you want it bad. Come on now. Come on.
That's pretty good stuff, isn't it?
Still out there. Hang tight.
Bobby Hillin has been black flagged. We reported he was smoking. You saw the smoke. The NASCAR officials have black flagged him. And Jeremy?
Still out there.
Yeah, he was still there, Jeremy. Good thing Dennis was on
your driver up by saying that. Mayfield, but
doing good. Hang with him. Make it pay. Make it pay. Let's go.
Lamani moves to third.
Jeremy, what you got to do is work him high when you get him down here in 1 and 2. Take him in high. Push him up high.
Do a slide jump on him is what they're talking about as they do in the open wheel cars.
It's been pitching down on you so you get loose like that, but you push him up high when you take him in.
Cooling his tires right now a little bit, and settling back to mount another challenge on Gordon a little bit later. In the meantime, Ernie Irvan is still within a car length of Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt has now led the most laps, 98. We've had 11 different leaders and 23 lead changes, and the 11 different leaders today ties a record for this race, set in 1989 and in 90.
Boy, there's a mess. Dale Jarrett just passed these cars there. We see Dale Jarrett down the backstretch. Bobby Hamilton been able to get by. We see Robert Kress has moved up there. Schrader, the 25 car. He is in 8th spot. Ricky Rudd, the 10 car, is in 7th. Jimmy Spencer, somewhere in front of these cars, is the next car in line. He is in 6th spot.
Henry cars are doing well. Schrader is in 8th. Terry Labonte's in 3rd, and Jeff Gordon's in 4th.
And there's Jimmy Spencer. There's the 6th place car.
Jimmy Spencer has never led a lap here. This is his 13th at Atlanta. And once again, it's Gordon and Mayfield. Thought there for a moment that Jeremy was going to get a run on Jeff, but challenge in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series is in good hands for the future with drivers like these.
Two very, very young drivers, and Jeremy Mayfield from Owensboro, Kentucky, up on the Ohio River. And a lot of folks from Owensboro, Kentucky, the Walter boys, the Green boys, David and Jeff, from Bushwick National, Michael Darrell.
It's quite a race to down. Let's have something in the water in Owensboro. So the boys race drivers.
Bobby Hill in the Jasper car has heated the NASCAR black flag, made a pit stop. They worked on the car. He goes back to see if the oil leak has been slowed down.
Just 68 laps to go here in this race.
Look at Terry Labonte.
Yeah, Labonte suddenly re-emerges as a contender as he begins to close in on Ernie.
It looks like in 10 or 15 laps that he's just so-so, and then he just goes straight forward. His car, after that point, becomes the fastest car on the racetrack. I'm talking about Terry Labonte in the 5 car.
Earnhardt started from the pole in last year's race here and finished in 4th position. In 36 starts here at Atlanta, he's averaged a 9.2 finishing position. That's the best among all active drivers. He has 22 top 5s at this racetrack.
Good battle.
It sure is, and Labonte just keeps whittling away at that advantage that Ernie Irvan has on him.
Another lap.
Jeff Gordon, while you're watching these 3 cars, is still in 4th position. Jeremy Mayfield in 5th. They put another lap on Darrell Walter, who has not had a particularly good day. He's 85 laps down in 36th position. So let's take a pause here and enjoy an ESPN track fact, an ABC track fact brought to you by Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards of engine protection.
With one more pit stop planned, you must be precise. You can't afford a mistake here in the pits. And you ask yourself when you're at home, how do these crews fasten all those lug nuts, 5 on each wheel, 20 for 4 tires, so quickly? Well, let me show you how they do it. They actually use a glue. They glue around the edge of the lug nuts and put them on the wheels. That's how they ordinarily do it. But today, when it's so cold, that glue can be a problem. In fact, yesterday during the Busch Grand National race, let me show you this tire here. You see the yellow glue around the outside of the lug nuts? When it gets so cold, this glue will actually get brittle, and when you slide the wheel on, the lug nut falls off. That'll cost you 3 or 4 extra seconds. Let me show you what they can do in cold weather. They take this same lug nut, and they have a peel-off adhesive piece of foam. They peel off the front and peel off the back, and this little foam is then used to put the lug nut on the wheel. You don't have to worry about weather being a factor. The glue, which would dry and get brittle, not a factor. This little lug nut will stay intact, and that could be critical. Remember, only one planned pit stop remaining here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
And those pit stops will be coming up before too long, as 266 laps have been completed at Atlanta. We'll be right back.
When people hear the Hendrick Motorsports team switch to Quaker State this year, they'll probably think Quaker State wrote us a big check. Well, that's not how it happened. First, it had to pass our camshaft test. Then it had to pass our dyno test. Then it had to pass a track test. Then they wrote us the big check.
Quaker State exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
It's 400 miles of rocky, rutted trails with enough bumps and jumps to shake a truck to pieces. But if you think an endurance race through the Arizona desert is a real torture test for a truck, just imagine what it can do to a battery. That's why Parker 400 winners Dan Smith and Dave Ashley chose a battery they could depend on to go the distance. The Duralast battery. The same Duralast you can depend on for your car, because it's the one we stock at AutoZone. The Duralast battery. Power you can depend on.
Welcome back to the Purolator 500 Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's Terry Labonte that leads Dale Earnhardt right now, but boy, we have seen some great racing just in the past few minutes.
Here we go. Ernie Irvin running second, Dale Earnhardt in second. Irvin gets a great run down the backstretch. He will go by Earnhardt and take the lead. But Earnhardt will probably dive back on the inside. And he will come alongside Ernie Irvin and side by side down the front. And Terry Labonte, watching all this, says, I don't think so. It's not the last lap yet. Irvin down in the corner. High line. Working very well. Earnhardt gets a little bit loose. Ernie Irvin takes the lead. Labonte goes by to take second spot. And I want to tell you that while this is going on behind, Jeff Gordon and Jeremy Mayfield are running side by side. I want to tell you that after.
And then Terry got the lead, and he still is there with Earnhardt in second, who's been able to get by Irvin. So a real good battle among those three drivers, and back in fourth and fifth, still a good contest between Jeff Gordon and Jeremy Mayfield.
So let's take a look at our Napa Field summary as we watch Gordon and Mayfield. Pierre Libani, the leader, followed by Earnhardt and Irvin. And these top 5 continue to pound on one another. 8 cars on the lead lap.
Dale Jarrett has come back up to 11th position. He started in 36th spot.
One of our stories at the top of the show came here as the Winston Cup points leader, but is not having what will be his favorite weekend.
No. But you know, if points were awarded right now, Jarrett would maintain the points lead over Dale Earnhardt by about 55 points. Our calculations. Jeff Gordon, by virtue of his finish last week in the winner's circle, jumped 16 positions in the point standings, and he's going to move up further.
42 car of Kyle Petty was just black flagged by the NASCAR official. There he is, very slow, and looks like he's going to beat that black flag. See him talking to the crew. He shifts the car into neutral and is coasting.
It's on pit road, guys.
Kyle was
Fill him up, we can go all the way.
Was running 15th.
They must be, that's what black flag was about, because they're going to fill him up and go the rest of the way. Bill Weber, what's going on?
Benny, he started smoking about 5 or 6 laps ago. They're just going to fuel him and send him back out. Motor doesn't sound very good. Sounds a little bit like a sewing machine right now, so he might be back a little sooner than expected. Yeah, there's some fluid down here, too, so he doesn't sound so good, and he might be back pretty quick.
I thought a sewing machine sounded real good. I think he meant a thrashing machine. Well, Bill is probably not a farmer. He didn't know what a thrashing machine.
Besides that, it's way before Bill's time.
That's trash.
They're second and third, Earnhardt and Irvin, and then fourth and fifth, Jeff Gordon and Jeremy Mayfield.
Bobby Labonte. Labonte's slow in the interstate battery car. So the 8 car, Hutch Strickland, still on the racetrack. The 8 car is 26th.
Strickland has had spoiler problems all day. Lost one side, they fixed it, and lost the other side not too long after that.
Well, Kyle Petty was black flagged again by NASCAR, so whatever problems he had is still. Kyle, Bill Weber, what's up with Kyle?
I'm not sure I'm talking to you anymore.
Oh, excuse me.
It's a broken valve or rocker arm. He's just going to stay out there until they make him come back in, but their day's gone.
Car lap down is Mark Martin.
And you see him on the pylon in 9th spot. Michael Waltrip is in 10th.
Mark started his race from outside the front row. Second position.
He said that was the luckiest lap he probably ever turned in his life. He had been missing all morning, all day in practice on Friday, and did not run a lap. Mark goes out to qualify and qualifies on the outside.
You got 5 cars closing.
Darrell is in 34th spot. He's 89 laps
outside.
Tough day for Darrell Walton. Meanwhile, Bobby Hamilton and Michael Waltrip are...
They're running together, not racing for position.
Yeah, that's right.
The 88 and 21 are racing for position. Dale Jarrett, the Ford Quality Gear car, has called Michael Waltrip, and that is for the 10th spot.
Yep. Dale is trying to work his way into the top 10. And Kyle in once again. And they're going to raise the hood, it would appear this time, to check further as to what might be the problem for Kyle Petty. Let's go back to this battle for 10th spot. Michael Waltrip in 21 and Dale Jarrett in 88. And right behind them is the 23 car of Jimmy Spencer, who is
in sixth spot. He is about to put these fellows a lap down to his car.
And he started 39. And Jackaroo has called on Jimmy Spencer.
Bob, you remember a couple of weeks ago at North Carolina Motor Speedway, Jimmy Spencer has what he admits is the greatest ride of his life. He's won a Winston Cup race, several of them before, but he was leading that race till his car let him down. They had a motor problem. They were so convinced that that motor was the stoutest one in the stable, they repaired it, brought it here to Atlanta, and that's what's beneath the hood of that car right now. Jimmy said, if you got a good horse, ride it.
He was one of 3 drivers who, prior to this race, had led all 3 events. He has not led here today. Terry Labonte now is the only driver in that category. And the 33 car, Robert Presley, has slowed on the racetrack, running 14th.
I see some smoke coming out the exhaust on the Skull car. 43 car of Bobby Hamilton in the pits. Like a scheduled pit stop. Windshield.
This will be his final one. There are only 43 laps to go.
We're getting to the point that some of these front runners are going to stop short, change tires, and try to split that 80-90 laps they had to run. So fresh tires here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway always seem to be quite an advantage.
Dale Jarrett goes to the inside of Michael Waltrip and takes over the 10th position. So the Winston Cup points leader now has worked his way himself into the top 10. Meanwhile, back up front, it is still Terry Labonte. And Jack, what is Terry's pit strategy?
Well, Gary Dehart calls the shots for Terry Labonte. I asked him what the strategy would be, and he said, to be honest with you, Jack, what I want to do is I'm hoping that I can force one of the other front runners to come in on the pit road first so I can see what they do. He said, if I've got to come in first, I'm going to have to dictate what everybody else does. I'd rather follow rather than lead. Jerry?
Well, just the opposite up here, Jack. Dale Earnhardt would rather lead than follow. Now, here's what their calculations are. The 3 cars should pit in around lap 290. They figure they will need 15 gallons of gas to go the rest of the way. What they would like to maybe do is only change 2 tires, which would force the 5 car and the 28 car to follow suit and only change 2 tires. They want to be able to dictate the pit strategy. Earnhardt says his car is tight. If he only changes 2 tires, it may loosen up his car enough to stay out there and win. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Now down here in Ernie Irvin's pit, they have had out the calculator. Robert Yates has out both stopwatches. They have a tentative plan to pit around lap 300, but they haven't nailed that down yet. They're trying to find out what the rest of the leaders are going to do. Ernie has not said basically one word since his last pit stop. However, they are going to try and make a small chassis adjustment, make his car a little bit better. This crew is very cautiously optimistic. They've torn up a lot of sheet metal in the first 3 races. None of it necessarily their driver's fault. They want to have a good finish today. If they can win, that is simply an added bonus here at Atlanta.
Well, if he's going to stretch it to 300 laps, he'll be out there for another 10 because the 290th lap was just clicked off. That leaves us with 38 circuits to go before the checkered flag falls on this one.
Warren Dallenbach has already pulled his car, the Hayes Motors car, into the pit, so pit stops are starting. They tell him that Dale Earnhardt is going to pit this time. Yes, here he comes. Ernie will stay out on the racetrack now then. Earnhardt's getting exactly what he wants. He will dictate what the rest of the guys are going to do. And Jerry Punch, he's coming towards you.
And Benny, what they thought they might do, they're not going to do. They decided that Richard Jonas said, hey, rather than take a risk and change 2 tires, I think we ought to go with 4. But we're going to find out here in about 10 seconds what exactly they're going to do. Right side jack under the car. They'll change both right side tires. Critical, they clean the windshield. And 1 can of fuel in the car. Remember, they needed 15.2 gallons. And the car number 23 also in. Back to Earnhardt. You're watching the work now on the car number 23. Head back to Earnhardt. The smoke and goes. The Goodrich crew. They will change all 4 tires. 18.8. And let's go down to Jackaroo.
Well, now Gary Dehart, Jerry Bunch got what he wanted. He saw what Dale Earnhardt did, so now he can follow rather than lead. With But the key is going to be here on pit road, make the fastest stop possible. No indication yet due to the new NASCAR rules. You don't get an indicator real early in a pit stop if they're going to change 4 tires. Now we do. They're going to go for 4, so they're following the lead by Dale Earnhardt. And there's trouble on the right rear one more time. They finally get it off, but it's taking time. Let's go to Bill Weber because Ernie's in now.
And he's going to get a couple of tires on the right side, waiting for the fuel till they come around with the guns. Now they'll change the left side, put in just enough fuel to get Ernie to the finish. They'll top off the tank. They decided to come in after they saw the other leaders pit as well. So Ernie Irvin is away. Back to Jack in Gordon's pit.
And Jeff Gordon is going to make a chassis adjustment. Actually, it was on the tracking bar in the rear of the car. They put one turn in. They're going to change the tires now. They're going for 4 stops as well. Remember, Bill Weber told you it's like the front parking spot, and he is away. Now, let's go to Jerry Punch.
Young Jeremy Mayfield trying to record his best Winston Cup finish ever when he looks into his pit stop. They will change all 4 tires. Boy, the windshield is absolutely filthy trying to clean the windshield. You can see at 190 miles an hour. You hear the crew chief talking to the young driver. Left side tires going on. They flash it full of fuel. Little problem now with the left rear. All the lug nuts are fastened. They wait for you.
Watch your speed now.
He is down and away.
Watch your speed, Jeremy. Don't get caught speeding. Boy, this would be a killer.
Well, all you can do. All right, let it go now. Let it go. Let's go.
Well, you know the pressure is on that young man to pull off this great finish that he has had. Remember the 25 car of Schrader topped off during the most recent caution. He was at the back of those running on the lead lap, so he came in and topped off, and because of that, he's able to stay out there a little longer and is the leader at lap 296.
Innovation, leadership, style. The all-new Polaris 1996 ATVs are ready for inspection. You won't believe your eyes. Check out the Sportsman 500, the only ATV with a 4-stroke liquid-cooled 500cc engine, shaft drive, and independent rear suspension. For hunting, working, or just plain getting around, there's nothing like a Polaris ATV. Choose your model today.
You and I have a lot in common. We're a lot alike. We're the same, you and me. I look at you, I see myself.
Pay too much for auto supplies and you'll feel like one too. At Pep Boys, you'll get great prices. Now Autolite spark plugs just 49 cents after rebate. Sets of floor mats for $9.99. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price. Tires and service. Pep Boys. Everything but gas.
Extreme? Try strapping yourself in a 4,000-pound rocket. Then run at 220. 6 inches away from 41 of your closest friends. Real close. NASCAR. Extreme and always has been. Busch. The official beer of NASCAR and always has been.
When people hear the Hendrick Motorsports team switch to Quaker State this year, they'll probably think Quaker State wrote us a big check. Well, that's not how it happened. First, it had to pass our camshaft test. Then it had to pass our dyno test. Then it had to pass a track test. Then they wrote us the big check.
Quaker State exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
Tuesday, who is Dana Carvey?
Yo, my name's Mike Tyson. I'm a little tiny white guy now.
He's anybody you want him to be. The Taco Bell Dana Carvey Show, Tuesday.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Working lap 300. Ken Schrader has his Budweiser Chevy on pit road. For a desperate 2-tire change. They're going to drive for track position. And Ken Schrader will try and race to the finish with just fresh right side rubber.
Interesting strategy on that team's part. Meanwhile, out on the racetrack, Dale Earnhardt is the leader of the race with Terry Labonte running in second spot. And this would be the battle for 5th.
Because right now Michael Walton has not stopped. so he is still in third spot. Kenny's Michael Waltrip has just left pit road, so he has stopped. That's actually a race for third place. And 2 tires on the 21 car, so he's trying his best to get some track position.
Same strategy that Ken Schrader employed here on the final pit stop.
It looks like Earnhardt learned from Daytona and said, I'm going to do 4, as did the rest of the top of the order. Earnhardt leading over Terry Labonte and Ernie Irvin, with Jeff Gordon right behind him. Strategy on the pit stops. Interesting. Jeremy Mayfield got hurt on that.
He did get hurt. He changed 4 tires, but his pit stop did not appear to be that bad, but he's ended up now in about the 5th spot.
Martin making a pit stop. He's running 10th, a lap down. He last pitted on lap 291, so it hasn't been all that long since he was in.
Mark Martin is blown up, I do believe. His car, I don't believe, is running.
This is not good news for Mark Martin. Meanwhile, on the racetrack, it's Jeff Gordon and Ernie Irvin side by side, and Jeff goes to third. Jack, what's the problem with Mark Martin?
Well, I'll tell you, Benny Parsons is absolutely a genius sitting high atop that grandstand. I asked Steve Meal, and it's another one of those two-worders, done blowed up.
That's 3 words, but okay, we understand. Dale Earnhardt had a great pit stop. He's out in front. But Terry Labonte, we've seen all day long, after a run, an extended run, will gain on Earnhardt. But does he have enough time now to chase down Earnhardt? Meanwhile, this is a battle for third spot. Jeff Gordon at 24, Ernie Irvin at 28.
Less than 24 laps remain in this race, and Dale Earnhardt has a comfortable lead at the moment over Terry Labonte. There is Earnhardt as he puts another lap on the 37 car, driven by John Andretti.
There we see the interval between Earnhardt and Labonte, 3 seconds ahead. Gordon is 6.5 and Irvin 6 point, almost 7 seconds. So 3 seconds. Can Labonte make up 3 seconds? I think he's gaining on Earnhardt, but is he gaining fast enough? We'll see. There we see Earnhardt, and there comes Labonte. There we see Earnhardt. That's the distance. We're calling 3 seconds.
By the way, we have set a new record for number of different leaders. We've had 12 in this race here today. And once again, there's the interval between first and second position.
There's Labonte right now. He really needs to catch this traffic. You see Morgan Shepherd. He needs to catch it at the perfect spot so he doesn't have to break stride to get by. Morgan wisely moves over. Lets Labonte go in. Didn't cost him anything.
It's Dale.
There's Labonte. Earnhardt stop at 18.8 and Labonte's at 21.6. Guess what? 3 seconds.
Exactly 3 seconds.
Earnhardt, Labonte. Hard to tell right now. He would only be gaining in tenths of a second. 3 laps to go.
Terry Labonte has led 41% coming into this race. 41% of the super speedway laps. Today he has led 97. Earnhardt has led 116.
Let's take a look at our AutoZone off-track interval. Earnhardt and Terry Labonte. They stopped on 291. We see Earnhardt 41.9 from where he came into the pits, out of the pits, and Labonte 44.9, exactly 3 seconds. That's the distance on the racetrack.
And those laps are clicking off now, less than 18 to go. Earnhardt down the backstretch. Here comes Labonte 20 off the second corner. We were on record pace for a while, but we have caution flags that have slowed us down. The track record is 163.6 miles an hour, and the average at the moment is 160.4, so we're not going to break the speed record. Just doesn't look like that Terry Labonte is going to be able to catch Dale Earnhardt. He's not closing in nearly as fast as he needs to.
Doesn't look that way. Got a piece of paper over on the right side. If he was running short track now and had a brake duct over there, he'd be in trouble, but he doesn't have anything over there. Not causing any problem at all. Back to Earnhardt. Pan out, show you just how far back that Labonte is. And you're right, Bob, doesn't seem to be gaining any.
Dale Earnhardt has won 7 times at this racetrack. He has won this event 3 times, most recently in 1990. Won the Hooters 500, which is the fall race here in Atlanta, 4 times, most recently just last year to cap off his 95 season. Well, the Western Auto Mechanic of the race has been announced. Dr. Punch, who is it?
Well, take a wild guess, Bob. I'm with David Smith there, who's the co-crew chief for the Goodrich Chevrolet. And David, congratulations on being named Western Auto Mechanic of the race. You guys have done a whale of a job today.
I tell you, this whole team is just great. You know, I'm just so proud of every one of them. Spinny Clendenin at home with our engine department, they just did a terrific job. Dale drove a whale of a race, and these guys on pit road have been terrific, Jerry.
You almost forced their hand. You were thinking about 2 tires on that last stop.
Well, we had to think about it, but I think we made the right move, of course, but yeah, we had to consider it.
That's David Smith, co-crew chief, and he's the Western Auto Mechanic of the race for the Purolator 500.
Andy Petrie left the team at the end of last year, and David and Bobby Hutchins are kind of serving as co-crew chiefs for Dale Earnhardt this year, but it has not affected his performance at all. The 98 car, meanwhile, is closing in on the 28 for 4th position. Jeremy Mayfield catching Ernie Irvan.
I think Jeremy Mayfield would be delighted with a 5th place. We'd probably be even more tickled with a 4th place. There you can see it's Earnhardt, Labonte, Jeff Gordon, Ernie Irvan, and Jeremy Mayfield. Where is Jeff Gordon? There's Jeff Gordon.
He's running all by himself.
Looks to me like Earnhardt is pulling away from Terry Labonte.
Yeah, I don't think Terry is going to be able to catch Dale Earnhardt this afternoon.
Of the season, and he said the car was running as fast as it did last November, but the competition had caught up. Well, he didn't quite catch up.
Not quite close enough. Earnhardt still right on the bottom of the racetrack there in the 4th corner. He comes down and completes lap 318, and the scoring mile operation just 10 laps to go. He has a 4.8-second advantage on Terry Labonte, and the interval back to Jeremy Mayfield in 5th position is 11.5 seconds.
So Dale Earnhardt can get some of that distance that he lost last week. Once leader Dale Jarrett, there he is, going by Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, and Jarrett now will go 2 laps down in 11th position. But again, according to our statistics, the points for right now, Dale Jarrett would still have the points lead by about 50 over Dale Earnhardt. Show you another Napa field summary here late in the going. Give you a complete field rundown.
Ward Burton has hung in there. He's 15th now. Jeff Bodine has been struggling. The Bodine boys right together, a lap apart.
Martin Presley showed as out of the race. Morgan Shepherd, who has 3 of his 4 career wins here at this track, is not having a good day. Bobby Labonte is 41 laps down, and the rest of the drivers have retired from competition.
And one more car, Lightspeed, the first car credited to the 41st spot. Man, you hate to pick up the paper on Monday morning when you're dead last.
Now Earnhardt has lapped Jimmy Spencer, so there are 6 cars on the lead lap. And Schrader now is in 6th position and the last car on the lead lap. As Dale continues to set the pace and get closer and closer to another victory. 2:22 complete. 3:22, sorry about that.
We just wish we were 2:22. We wish we could see another 100 laps of this, but we can't. Terry Labonte's 2nd place car. Rick Hendrick's car, 2nd and 3rd. You say he'd be tickled with that? I don't think so.
And 6th.
And 6th, yes, Schrader. If they were 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, he would be tickled to death.
Yeah, he'd like it a lot better. Less than 5 laps to go for Dale Earnhardt.
The car has been awfully good today. Got to give a lot of credit to Earnhardt, David Smith, Bobby Hutchins, the entire Richard Childress crew for the job they've done. 4 to go.
Looking for his 70th NASCAR Winston Cup career win. Looking to make it 8 here at Atlanta.
A few moments ago between Ernie Irvin and Jeremy Mayfield. That has dissipated. Irvin has pulled away from Jeremy Mayfield.
Dale Earnhardt won this race from 31st starting position, the furthest back that any winner has ever come. Here today, Dale began at shortly after 1 o'clock this afternoon in 18th position and has 2 laps to go. Well, there are the manufacturer standings. We've got 4 Chevys. We got 5 Chevys. Wait a minute.
You were right to begin with.
4 Chevys and 6 Fords in the top 10, but Chevy 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Earnhardt in turn 3.
White flag is about to come out.
1 more lap.
1.522 miles to go for Dale Earnhardt. There's the white flag.
Earnhardt will be the first 2-time winner of 1996, winning the race at Rockingham, and now here in Atlanta, if he can just make it back. And I don't see any sign that he won't make it back.
Just got a half a lap to go now as he takes the car into corner number 3 for the final time. Now in 4 and onto the straightaway, here is Dale Earnhardt taking the checkered flag and winning the Purolator 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Career victory number 70, and with the 8th win here in Atlanta, he breaks a tie with Cale Yarborough for most Atlanta wins on the all-time list. Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, Richard Childress, congratulations. That's the way to dominate a day.
Yeah, it was a great day for the whole Goodrich Racing team. You know, Dale done a superb job like always, and the pit crew really came through today on that last stop. And, you know, we kept adjusting the car, kept adjusting it, and it really came in. And Dale was really good at giving us what he wanted us to adjust the car to.
Does this make up for the disappointment last week, finishing 31st?
Yeah, you know, we were all down a little bit after last week, but this race team just keeps digging and coming back, and I'm proud of them.
Well, we'll let RC head to victory lane and celebrate. Meanwhile, we'll check in up with Larry McReynolds, who's standing by with Bill Weber.
And I just said to Larry, you guys don't smile very much. It worries me, but you have a big reason to smile. That is a great day for you and your driver.
It really is. You know, the 96 season for one of our cars has just been a terrible start. On the other hand, start for the 88 car has been great, but Ernie drove an awesome race. These guys had a great day on pit road, and it's a good start now. We can start working toward getting ready for Darlington. We're going to test there this week, and hopefully we got the monkey off our back, because in Winston Cup racing, if it ever gets on, it seems like it never will get off.
That's Larry McReynolds. They had a great day here at Atlanta, and Dale Jarrett also has a strong finish here, trying to protect his lead in the race for the Winston Cup Championship.
Dale Earnhardt pulls into victory lane, and we'll be talking with him momentarily. But first a break and these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
My biggest asset's my people. They're experts in solving your problem.
This is Ron Camerata, Federated Store Manager. He's been in the parts business 31 years.
Federated has quality products, quality people, and we're very competitive. Customers call, they ask your advice, they ask your help for things. That's part of being a store manager. And that's rewarding, because they know that you've gone out of your way to give them what they need.
When you want the best parts and expert advice, go to your Federated Auto Parts store.
Like a rock, I was strong as I could be. Like a rock, nothing ever got to me.
Chevy's got the highest resale value of any full-size pickup.
Like a rock,
Of course, to find that out, you'd have to sell it.
Wednesday, Grace goes back to school.
But this is going to be different. Like, for starters, I'm not going to sleep with the professor.
And all new Grace. Then it's the premiere of Buddies. Are Dave and John getting a new neighbor?
I want to live someplace where I can turn around in the shower and not get goosed by the faucet.
Buddies premieres Wednesday after Grace.
No matter what kind of car you have, at Western Auto, we have all the parts you could ever need. Like starters, and clutches, and shocks, and even engines. And all for guaranteed low prices. Oh, and don't forget, brakes. Western Auto. Serious parts, serious savings.
I will use treatment to help the sick, according to my ability and judgment.
With purity and with holiness, I will pass my life and practice my art.
Into whatever houses I enter, I will go into them for the benefit of the sick.
Now if I carry out this oath, may I gain forever reputation among all men for my life and for my art.
The Hippocratic Oath is a solemn pledge from your doctor to you. At John Alden, our philosophy is not to get in the way.
28 Tampa Bay News tonight at 11.
So Dale Earnhardt climbs out. He's done it again in Atlanta. Another victory, and the celebration begins down in the winner's circle. Now, with the McDonald's winner's circle interview, here's Jackaroo.
Well, the first one to greet him was his daughter. And Dale, what accounts for the domination that this team has here in Atlanta?
Well, I tell you, this old race car is pretty tough. She is a real pushy off the corners today. Loose as heck getting in. I got to hand it to David Smith and all the guys that did a great job with it. Again, the engine guys spinning, all of Scott DeYoung, all of them, Danny Lawrence. Just a good car. That last stop was a great stop. The pit crew did a great job. Good risk. You know, you can't got to hand it to them. They just keep getting on top. Everybody says, well, last year, well, that's that number one pit position. We were in pit 13 today. We stomped them, buddy. We got them hard in the pits. And, you know, I think that was the key to us running us good there at the end, because, of course, we adjusted on the air pressure. You know, good Lord give us a beautiful sunny day. It's a little cool with fast. That's what matters.
You talk about that pit crew. What kind of confidence does that give you as a driver when you know you can come down to the last stop of the afternoon and leave it in their hands?
Well, I think it's a two-way street. I think they give me a lot of confidence, and I think I give them a lot of confidence when I carry this car around there. We're a great team together, and we work hard together. We've done it together. Nobody done it without the other one. And I've got a great engine crew and a great chassis crew, and the guys in the fab shop, everybody. They do a great job, and that's what it's all about.
It seems so long ago that Dale Earnhardt came here with a lot of hair and a lot of ambition and was just a youngster. Drove for Johnny Ray, had some situations that occurred. And do you remember those hard times, Dale, now when you're a 7-time Winston Cup champion?
Well, I do remember those hard times. And, you know, we won more races here today than anyone else, and that surpassed a little bit of a record of Mark, and to be the winningest driver at Atlanta. So we've come a long way, and I tell you, I appreciate everything everybody's done for us, and we're proud of our sponsors and everybody. They've helped out tremendous. Good Ranch, Snap-on, and all the folks, Western Steer, Food City. Everybody's did a great job for us. I can't thank everybody enough. The crew, Richard Childers, everybody. It was a good day for us.
Well, it was a good day, and a man that's had both good days and bad days. But today was a good day is the man that finished in second place, Terry Labonte. Now, Terry Labonte, as Benny Parsons pointed out, came down, and it was a 3-second stop, Jerry Punch. 3 seconds difference on that last stop, and that made the difference between first and second.
And Terry Labonte was asked by NASCAR to bring his car out the pit road and stop it here. Now, we're not allowed to be near the car because they're going to impound these cars and take them to the wind tunnel. But what Terry was trying to point out to the NASCAR officials was take a look at the right front. See, there's a hole in the right front fender. In fact, there's a bag sticking out of that hole. That's where he hit the spoiler that came off of the 8 car. And Terry said, how can you take my car to the wind tunnel when it's got a hole in the front end? But NASCAR said, we want to take it anyway. It was a very good race car today. So Terry climbed out and is headed back to the garage area.
Yeah, that's a pretty valid point. That would be a little bit different aerodynamically than a car that is untouched during the day. We've got plenty coming up here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and don't forget the International Race of Champions yet today.
Now at Pep Boys, get any 4 all-season 45,000-mile tires for just $139. Any size, any 4 45,000-mile tires in stock for just $139. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
Fact, it'll rain the day after you wash the car. Fact, you will never date a supermodel. Fact, you can't get a great deal on a great bike. Wow! Well, fact this. Right now, during Suzuki Fest 96, you could pick up a new V-Twin Intruder 1400 or a stunning RF 900R for only 9.9% APR. And we'll top it off with $300 toward your choice of added accessories. Free! But you better hurry. Suzuki Fest 96 ends April 30th. Oh yeah, one more fact. There's always lots of legal stuff at the end of a commercial.
Oh, Bill, did I tell you what Patty said that Rachel heard about what Mark said about Patty? Well, Bill, are you listening? Anyway, Patty ran into Rachel, who had run into Mark at a party. So, according to Bill, are you listening to me or to the game?
5 ticks left on the clock. Missiles down by 1. Just a reminder, this game brought to you by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good. Smith inbounds to Wakeman through the paint. Tomahawk stab. Yes!
Oh, well, I'm the kind of life that helps to get you going. When you're on your own out on the road, it's such a comfort knowing you got the snake light from Black & Decker. I get around, I'm the snake light. It's your thing, do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. It's your thing, do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to.
All of us get busy with what we do every week. However, there's nothing more important than spending time with your family. Good night, air. Good night, noise everywhere. Take a moment and do something special with your family. You should never be too busy.
Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Daddy.
This message brought to you by NASCAR. The teams, the tracks, the drivers.
As we look at the condominiums that overlook Turn 2 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Purolator 500 is over. Interesting day, very cold but also very fast. Ernie Irvin drove from 37th starting position into 4th place. He's with Bill Weber.
And a great 4th place finish it was for you today. I know you have to be very happy.
Well, we are. One thing I have to say is, I hate that my wife's not here because she's at home. She'd been in the hospital, so. we want to, hopefully she gets better, and, things are looking up.
Ernie, you had a great run out there today. The first 3 races obviously weren't ideal situations. Got caught up in some circumstances today. You had a good race car, and you took it to the front.
Well, we did, and, we knew we could do that. People always speculate all kinds of stuff, but, none of our race team was speculating anything. They knew when we get a good piece that we're going to go to the front, we're going to qualify up front, and that sort of stuff. So we had to work awful hard on this car. It's the same car we ran here last time, but it's amazing that we got it good, and it raced real good.
You ran strong at the tail end of last season when you returned. You ran strong today. You have to feel more and more confident as the laps go by.
Well, I do. Obviously we had some 3 bad runs, and first thing everybody says is, oh, maybe you came back too early. But I think we answered a lot of those questions a long time ago, and we're excited about it, and we're looking forward to going to Darlington and do some more testing and just get our program going.
And I saw Larry McReynolds smile after the race, so that's a good sign.
It is. I told him, I said, hey, the race is over, and I still got all 4 fenders on it. So that's just part of it. The guys were. There's not a time that they got to do a pit stop without having to pull a fender out or something. So it's just part of it. We got to get our qualifying program down and get starting towards the front and be able to race these guys all day.
Great day for Ernie Irvin. He comes home 4th in Atlanta.
And what a great study of courage and perseverance. By the way, the run helped him out, too. He ran from 34th to 19th in the points fight. Now, Saturday, ABC Sports rolls into Las Vegas for 2 big events. First, at 3 Eastern Pacific, it's the Professional Bowlers Tour. And then we'll go cross-town for ABC's Wide World of Sports, as Bernard Hopkins defends his IBF middleweight title. Plus, the road to the Triple Crown begins with the Florida Derby, presented by Visa. That's all Saturday here on ABC Sports. Now, we're going to take a break. Plenty of people to talk to, including this young man, his best finish ever, Jeremy Mayfield. And more racing coming with the IROC. We'll be right back.
Extreme heat. It can alter the state of your motor oil, causing it to vaporize, destroying your car's engine. Fortunately, there's Quaker State motor oil, proven to exceed the highest standards car makers have established for protection against the destructive effects of heat. Quaker State. What's the state of your motor oil when the heat is on? Quaker State exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
There's no track in the world that's tougher on brakes than the one in Martinsville, Virginia. And when drivers take the green flag here, they all have one thing in common: the same brand of brakes. Because without them, you can't come down this straightaway at 120 miles an hour and still make it through the turn. So which brand do the top drivers use to get them through 500 laps at Martinsville? Performance Friction Carbon Metallic. And we stock them at AutoZone.
No trendy health club. No $60 shorts. No excuses. Speed Stick. Its no-nonsense formula never quits. It works and works. Protects all day, no matter what. Speed Stick for 110% protection. Like you, it never quits.
By minute.
I do not drive to work. I do not drive to get from point A to point B. I do not drive to run away from the world. I just love to drive.
The new 1996 Monte Carlo. Personal space from genuine Chevrolet.
Brazilian Emerson Fittipaldi welcomes the world's top drivers to his home turf. It's the IndyCar Rio 400 next Sunday on ABC.
Well, despite the cold here in Atlanta, the fans are hanging in to hear the final interviews with their champions here today. Don't forget the International Race of Champions, round number 1, the 20th IROC Series coming up next. 3 new rookies, some brand new Pontiacs in the series. The race at Daytona, I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to like this young man, too, with a terrific run today, his best ever, as he finishes in 5th. Jerry Punch, you've got Jeremy Mayfield.
And, Paul, what an incredible effort for Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy, you thought this season would be a good one, and Daytona was a little bit of a disappointment, but today had to turn it all around for you.
It sure did. I tell you what, the RCA Ford ran awesome all day and handled great, and the motor ran good, and had great pit stops. And when you have a day like that, you're supposed to finish in the top 5, and we're just real happy with it. That's our first one, and hopefully we got many more coming.
Now, we listened all day long. We eavesdrop on you and your spotter and your car owner, Kel Yarborough, on the discussion. We basically heard a driving lesson for Atlanta Motor Speedway. Does that help a lot?
It does. I tell you what, especially for me, not having a lot of experience, and I would forget at times and start going in low, and it would screw the car up. And they keep reminding me, go in high and go in low, and kind of tell me where to run all day, and it kept me out of trouble. And at times I'd get in situations I didn't need to be in, and they'd bite me back out of them, and that's what it takes.
Let me ask your car owner, Kel Yarborough, you didn't sit down all day long. We show you standing on top of that toolbox, and you must be tired of smiling. This kid has really been impressive.
Well, he sure has, Jerry. Everything just went good for us today. Of course, this entire team, from the engine department to the Fab boys, everybody's really worked hard getting this team where it is, and I just think that it's a sign of things to come. Jeremy's doing a fantastic job. He's getting more experience, and we got the right team put together, and I think we're going to have this RCA Ford in the winter circle before it's over with.
Fifth place finish today, and omen for what could be a good year for Kel Yarborough and Jeremy Mayfield. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Some frustrating moments for Dale Jarrett today, but he still leaves here 50 points ahead in the race for the championship. An 11th place finish. You battled your car all day.
Yeah, we'll take an 11th today. I tell you, the way it started out, I wasn't sure that I could finish. That all comes from not qualifying well. We missed yesterday morning's practice of getting ready for the race because of that. So we only had an hour yesterday afternoon to really get ready, and that just wasn't enough time. This was a brand new car. The guys did a terrific job in the pits of getting it better. We got it a lot more competitive as the day went on, and we'll come out of here with an 11th and be happy.
You like the points lead?
Well, that's nice, but we got a lot of races to go, and this is what you have to do when you don't have good days. Whenever you don't have the best car, you got to make the most of it, and that's what we were able to do, and the guys worked hard. Just want to thank all them. They're the ones that made this happen.
Dale Jarrett comes home 11th to Jackaroo.
Well, Bill, another man that's real happy with a finish in the top 5. It isn't Richmond. You didn't win, but Jeff Gordon, you're in it for the long haul as well.
Well, absolutely. We're building back up. We've gotten pretty far behind the first 2 races. Richmond gave a lot of momentum coming into Atlanta, and we at one time we thought we had the car to beat, and we were back and forth all day. The 3 car was really consistent. My teammate Terry was tough out there too, so we're just real happy to bring the DuPont Chevrolet home in 3rd and get this momentum back going in our direction instead of the opposite direction.
Besides the momentum and all of that, when you're chasing a setup like you did today, do you learn some things that you can take to another racetrack?
Absolutely, and I mean the last time we were here we were awful, and we had to do a lot, and we came back and we didn't qualify very good. We're right back to where we ended up here in November, and we're scratching our heads. Ray and the guys, they threw a bunch of things in it this morning that we had no idea what it was going to do, and so it worked. I mean we had to tweak on just a little bit here and there all day long, but man, I tell you, I'm real happy with this run, and different circumstances we might have been right there, but we'll come home 3rd any day.
How about the pace of this race? That can wear you out. You didn't have much time to rest, did you?
You better be in good shape if you're going to run this race as fast as we were running out there, and these guys up front, they don't give up any. I mean, the cars are working, and you just don't know how fast it is. I mean, it is so fast through the corners to be able to hold your head up and keep your arm in there, especially when the cars are as tight and pushing. A lot of them were today, especially off the corner. So no cautions. It's like we were all going, please throw a caution so we can have a breather. But it was a fun, fast race.
We'll let you go rest up now for the long trip back home. And his teammate is standing by right now. What a great run for Terry Labonte, Jerry Punch.
Indeed, Jack, what a great 2 days for Terry Labonte. A win yesterday and a runner-up finish today. Terry, your car was awfully good most of the day.
It really was. We had a great car today. Our Kellogg Chevy ran good all day long, and we ran up front there and back and forth with the 3 car there for a while, and came up a little bit short at the end, but it was still a good run for us.
We showed the hole in the right front grille. You had to dodge a couple of bullets out there.
The spoiler that flew off that car hit the front of my car and knocked a hole in the front of it, and from that point on it picked up a little bit of a push, and we had to fight that the rest of the day.
But still a great weekend for you.
Well, it was. It was a good weekend. We won yesterday with the Bear Chevrolet and came close today with the Kellogg Chevy.
Well, Terry Labonte finishes 2nd. Still hasn't won here at Atlanta in his 36th try today, but a runner-up, hey, not bad, guys.
I tell you who the real winners are today, other than Dale Earnhardt, the guys in the body shop. We didn't have anybody ricochet off any walls, so they may in fact get a week off. Well, let's forget about that one. That was yesterday. That, of course, from the qualifying yesterday. We come back, we've got some more guys to talk to and another race.
Time management entails prioritizing, synergizing, reorganizing.
Earth to business guru. This is difficult. Well, at least Office Max, the office product superstore, is easy. Over 6,000 office products, including quality brand names like O'Sullivan or Brother, at guaranteed low prices that won't make that vein on your accountant's forehead bulge. Free delivery, too. Talk about time management. Office Max, we go to the max for you.
Filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Stay cool. Extreme cold. It can change the state of your motor oil, causing it to flow too slowly, keeping it from reaching vital engine parts in time. Fortunately, there's Quaker State motor oil, proven to exceed the highest standards car makers have established for engine protection. Quaker State. What's the state of your motor oil when you're out in the cold? Quaker State exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
Since NASCAR first began, there have been over 1,000 races, with more than 10,000 drivers and mechanics, and millions of spectators. And as NASCAR continues to grow even bigger, so has the one-part store serious enough to be the only official auto parts store in the history of NASCAR. Western Auto, and Western Auto's new Parts America.
Chance now to take a look at some of the final stories in today's running of the Purolator 500. One here at Atlanta Motor Speedway by Dale Earnhardt as he becomes the winningest driver here. Earnhardt takes that win, followed by Labonte, then Jeff Gordon, Ernie Irvan. Jeremy Mayfield with a spectacular run.
And Ken Schrader also, the last car to finish on the lead lap. Jimmy Spencer was a lap down, but a good run for him. Bill Elliott, the hometown favorite, came in 10th, and the points leader, Dale Jarrett, retained the points lead by finishing in 11th position. Also a good run for Ricky Craven.
Bobby Hamilton continues his strong running in 1996. 16th today, not exactly what he wanted. John Andretti had all that trouble to begin with, still salvaged a 21st. And Morgan Shepherd, all kinds of problems in 30th. And there's the guys that'll go home really licking their wounds. Darrell Waltrip, Labonte, Mike Wallace, not a good birthday present for him. And Bill Weber is with Ricky Craven.
And he's a little woozy, inhaling a few fumes today, huh?
Yeah, not by choice. You know, we had a great car. The Kodiak Chevrolet was really good in the beginning, and it just minor problems and complicated things. But proud of these guys. You know, we're off to a great start, and we fought for a good top 10 finish and fell a little bit short. But tried a little hard there one time coming off 2, and I got a piece of the wall, but. It was a good day for us.
And that's what knocked out the crush panel and sent the fumes your way.
Yeah, I crushed those crush panels.
You had a little bit of motivation today, too. You had Travis Roy here, the young college hockey player that was injured.
Well, you know, he's an inspiration for all of us. I think that the world should be inspired by his courage and his spirit. And it was nice to have him here. I know he had a great day. It was... you know, it was nice to get exposed to the normal world again. You know, for him, he's been through an awful lot, and we think about him a lot, and it was nice to have him here and watch the race, and I know he had a good time.
And they used to work together. Ricky Craven, 5th in points, had a good day. To Dr. Punch, who's with Ricky Rudd.
Well, guys, 9th, 4th, 9th, and today 8th. Ricky, not a bad first 4 races for 1996.
No, Jerry, we're going to take it. It's almost like a brand new team, this Tide Whirlpool Danny bunch. It's a bunch of new people. Richard Broom's new crew chief for us. We're just trying to figure out what each other likes in a race car. And first couple of races we ran Richard's cars. I bought a couple of them from Kenny Bernstein last year. These last couple of races were my cars, and I think we're going to have to go back and build some more like Bernstein had. I think they ran a little better for us.
You dodged a couple bullets today. We showed one of the bags on your grill or a piece of hot dog wrapper, and that almost cost you.
Well, it really did. You know, it got Labonte a couple of weeks back, I think, at Rockingham. We caught it early, watched the water temp. It continued to climb up. We finally set a target. If it sees 240, 250 degrees, we're going to pit. Threw us at a pit sink. We had to stop early, though. If not, we'd have lost the engine. And sure enough, the temperature came back down after we stopped. And a couple of those wrecks, we were able to get ourselves back in the lead lap there late in the race by caution coming out at the right time. So I couldn't be happier. You know, we know the performance is going to get better as we get used to working together. Right now, we're just trying to log a couple of good top 10s, top 5s without hurting ourselves too much, and then step on the performance in about the first third of the season.
4 consecutive top 10s for 1996 keeps Ricky Rudd currently 3rd in the Winston Cup point standings. We continue our top 10 rundown from Atlanta. Here's Jack Arute.
And Jerry, I've known this guy since he was running modifieds back in the Northeast at places like Stafford. But today's 7th. You said it's the same motor that you had at Rockingham, but it let you down today.
No, it let me down at Rockingham, Jackie. Now, wait a minute. It blew up at Rockingham, but it didn't blow up today. That was a heck of a motor today. The car was off. The car was off all day, and you know, the guys worked hard trying to get it right. And we'll take 7th place, though. You know, Johnny Towns is home watching this on ABC, and he had a 4 or 5 bypass. He's my tire changer. Pit stops weren't quite as good as they should be, so JT, get well, buddy, because we missed you today.
Now, you're running a Ford car, and a lot of talk going into this race that this would be the benchmark, the determining factor as to whether the Fords have parity with the Chevrolets and the Pontiacs. Your verdict now, you are running a Ford.
Nah, they ain't as equal as they need to be. Chevrolet is a dominant car. NASCAR gave us a lot of consensus to help with Fords, but Chevrolet got a whole lot more consensus when they came out with that car a year ago. A lot more than the fans really know. And I think NASCAR's working really hard to fix the problem. They're going to wind tunnel again on Monday. So I tip my hat to NASCAR. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes, you know. I mean, they got their hands full. But they're trying to get it as close as they can. Our Ford wasn't as good as it needed to be by any means, and we're going to try and get our Ford better for the next time. But the Smoke and Joe's guys have built me a great race team. It's the best group of guys I've ever had in my life. And, you know, we're 13th in the points. That's my lucky number, Jackie, so I'm looking forward to Darlington.
You know, guys, they call this guy Mr. Excitement, and he does it on the racetrack. But you know what he does in his spare time? He and his brothers go to their junkyard, and they race cars. And when they declare a winner, it's the last one running.
That's called Demolition Derby, isn't it?
Jimmy Spencer, don't forget, we've got the International Race of Champions, brand new Pontiacs, 3 new rookies, and 1 great race at Daytona International. Dale Earnhardt today drives from back in the field at 18th to 1 in 49 laps.
You and I have a lot in common. We're a lot alike. We're the same, you and me. I look at you, I see myself.
Pay too much for auto supplies and you'll feel like one too. At Pep Boys, you'll get great prices. Now Autolite spark plugs just 49 cents after rebate. Sets of floor mats for $9.99. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price. Tires and service. Pep Boys. Everything but gas.
What, is this your idea of excitement? Let me tell you about exciting, okay? Driving around a racetrack at over 200 miles an hour, that's exciting. These are just flakes.
Well, what do you think?
These are really good. They're crispy, too.
Really?
Yeah, they're mighty good even with nothing on them. What are they?
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah. Kellogg's Corn Flakes? How could I be so dumb?
You got 500 miles to think about it.
Kellogg's is proud to sponsor NASCAR champion Terry Labonte.
Enter the Performance Zone with Split-Fire Performance V spark plugs.
If you hit your passing gear, you're gone. The difference in gas mileage has been fantastic.
Split-Fire Performance V spark plugs mean better performance, more horsepower, and better mileage. So say the experts and the people who use them.
They're the best plugs I ever put in my car.
Enter the Performance Zone only with Split-Fire Performance V's, guaranteed.
It's Saturday afternoon, almost game time. The TV's on, your feet are up. You've got the remote control in one hand, a great tasting ice-cold Miller Lite in the other. And as you take that first ice-cold sip, there's only one way to describe it.
IBF World Middleweight Champ Bernard Hopkins meets unbeaten #1 challenger Joe Lipsy Jr. live Saturday on Wide World.
Ready to put Dale Earnhardt's car up on the hauler as they pull it out of winner's circle.
Oh, no, Paul. Oh, no. That's car going to the NASCAR garage and going to be inspected with a fine-tooth comb to make sure they did nothing wrong. They're going to tear the engine completely down, take the gear out of the car, and inspect that Goodwrench Chevrolet for about another 30 minutes.
Benny, I'm surprised they would even doubt it.
I would too, but
now, while the points lead didn't change here at Atlanta, there was some real impact on the rest of the point standings, Bob and Benny.
Yeah, Dale actually had his first finish outside of the top 10 this year, finishing in 11th. He had held on to the points lead by 50. Dale Earnhardt wins the race and moves into second, or stays in second. Rudd, Elliott, and Craven are the next three.
There we see Schrader Labonte finally finishes the race decently. He finishes second day. He's now 7th in points. Musgrave, the Roush cars, got hurt a little bit. See Mark Martin back in 10th spot.
And you will see the other Roush car, Jeff Burton, ends up in 14th in the point standings. He didn't participate today, but he was second in the point standings going into this event.
And we see Jeff Gordon, 230 points behind the leader. I think he was about 275 after the first two races, so at least he's gained 45 points on Dale Jarrett in the last couple of races. And Michael Waltrip is in 20th.
All right, let's go down to Jerry Punch. He's with Bobby Hamilton.
Well, Bobby finished 16th today, but Bobby, that isn't reflective of how well your car ran. It ran awfully strong most of the afternoon.
Yeah, it did. We come in one time. They had a caution, and that did us. That got us a lap or so, and then we elected to take on 2 tires, get caught up one time there, and we did that and got behind again. We baked up track position, but the guys' new tires come on with us pretty good. So it was really a good day. We learned it's a brand new race car, never had a lap on it. We unloaded here and it qualified fast, and it runs some lap speeds real fast on the racetrack. So NASCAR and Pounder are going to use it to do their wind tunnel test with, so we'll see how the rules stack up after that.
Now, if this is the first week in 3 that someone hasn't beaten on you during the race, I mean, with about 15 laps, 20 laps to go, we saw that at Rockingham, and then we saw it last week after the race in the so-called cool-down lap. Must feel pretty good to be able to get out and smile for a change.
Yeah, it does. I told somebody, I said, get me to my Winnebago. I want to get out there and hide and say somebody's got something else to say today. But it's been fun. You know, we've been really hard racing. The guys on the STP crew have been really working hard. Beautiful race cars. I'm just happy as a lark. I wish we could have run better today, but we never raced good here. We always qualify in top 10, and we never raced good here. But, you know, we got moved from 12th to 9th in points, and that's still a good start on the season.
16th place today puts him in the top 10 on the points, and nothing but smiles here from the STP, Tim.
Oh, we're moving down with the countdown to the start of the 20th season of the International Race of Champions from Daytona International, round number 1. But we'll be back with some final thoughts.
It's a beautiful day at McDonald's as Mrs. Foley steps up, checks the sign, and delivers.
Big Mac extra value meal, please.
Nice one. Dave Garcia fields the call, dishes to Scott English. English cooks, Brett Broom wraps with a no-look pass to Lori Cole. Tony Fernandez scoops fries and assists on the drink. Skipper Jim Brook with an incredible move, hands off to Garcia, who turns, smiles, and connects.
Thanks, come again.
The crowd absolutely loves this.
We're Team McDonald's, proud to serve you and be the official break of the Olympic Games.
He's back in a zone.
At Chevrolet, we're not just out here winning. We're testing suspensions, developing more powerful engines, and learning more about aerodynamics. Because if you want to bring more race-winning technology to the street than any other car company, sometimes you have to work weekends. That's genuine Chevrolet.
It's spring, and already the race for the championship is heating up. And right now, Napa is leading the way with an exclusive offer for race fans. An exciting video called A Week in the Life of Roush Racing, with an inside look at Mark Martin's preparation and strategy for last year's final race of the season, the Napa 500. Plus, you'll get a handy scorebook to track all the races, both for just $10.99, only at your nearby Napa Auto Parts.
We keep America running.
Now, there's a brand new motor oil made to handle the stresses on your hard-working engine. 4x4 from Quaker State. Off-road driving. Extreme temperatures. Especially towing and hauling. They all make your light truck or 4x4 work extra hard and could shorten its life. Why settle for a conventional car oil? Get a synthetic blend that can take the punishment. 4x4. It's new from Quaker State. The intelligent oil for hard-working engines.
Well, they're heading for the exits at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Remember, IROC coming up next. And here at the track, we are looking ahead at ABC Sports to some great races upcoming in the next couple of weeks here. IROC is next. IndyCar next week from Brazil, the Rio 400. And then on the 24th of March, the Indy Racing League with the Phoenix 200. So plenty of great racing coming up on the upcoming Sundays here on ABC. Let's go down pit side once again. Bill Weber.
Well, usually this time on Sunday afternoon, you can find about 39 disappointed guys, and I know you're one of them today. That fuel mileage really cost you.
Yeah, it did. You know, we thought we'd have figured it out yesterday evening, but the Kodak Chevy run good. We started way back and got up to 6, I guess, real early, and run out of gas and had to pit, and then run out of gas again and lost the lap. And we pitted there one time, run out of gas again, and just had to come out of the pits and caution come out. So pretty bad day for us.
You came out 12th in points, though. Your goal was to be 10th after this.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we had a real good car, and I thought you could definitely finish in the top 5. And it's disappointing. I mean, when you run real good and finish way back and something that feel like you could have prevented, we didn't, and we'll just have to regroup and try to give them at Darlington.
Sterling Marlin, lucky 13th today to Dr. Punch with Richard Petty.
Well, King, your car running better and better. 4 races, the Pontiac running awfully well. That first win's got to be right around the corner for Bobby Hamilton.
Well, we hope it is. Day wasn't one of our better days. We made a couple of mistakes in the pits, I guess, and the car didn't run as good as what we had hoped. But, Bobby brought it home. That's the main thing.
Feel good not to have to solve a controversy today?
Well, we wasn't running good enough, I guess, to get no wrecks today. We've been getting hit from behind. We've been leading the race and stuff like that. But I guess he wasn't up front enough for him to pick on today.
That's the King, Richard Petty. Let's go to Jackaroo.
And, Jerry, I'm at a car hauler that has no advertising, but it has 3 vehicles already loaded. They're waiting for the last one to go in, and that of Terry Labonte. This is the NASCAR hauler that'll take these cars to the wind tunnel for testing. At the top of the show, we talked about how hard it is to qualify for a Winston Cup event. Some of the top runners in the point standings went home without a ride. Well, this is the reason why. Because NASCAR works constantly, not at the end of each season, to go for parity. They continue to adjust week in and week out to make sure that the trip to victory lane is earned by the driver and not by a manufacturer's advantage.
So we've seen an interesting day here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Purolator 500. One that saw Dale Earnhardt in just 49 laps run from 18th starting position up to the lead and then battle all day long with the likes of Terry Labonte. And we saw Dale Jarrett, who came in here as the points leader, didn't perform as well as he would have liked, but nevertheless stays the points leader. And Jeff Gordon, he was 21st in starting position and was able to move up and battle with the front of the field as well and finish in 3rd place. So it's been another great day with NASCAR. Next time we see these guys here on ABC, we'll be at the Brickyard 400. I'm Paul Page for all the guys here at Atlanta. So long.
ABC Sports coverage of the Purolator 500 has been brought to you by Chevrolet. One car company has won more races in the history of NASCAR. Genuine Chevrolet. Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running. McDonald's. On the track and in our restaurants, just watch us cook. And Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection. Coming up next on